Alex, you go. Do the intro.
What? Me? What? Alright. Hello, everybody. By that I mean nobody. Welcome to the 5th Kiln episode. Today we're going to be discussing a very human thing. We're going to discuss love, and we're going to discuss hate. We're going to discuss things that we love, and the things that we loved said, no, we don't love you back. That is the topic of today. Series that said, fuck you to the fans.
The paraphrase is us complaining about fucking dumb series that did shit. The fucking
This
stupid
is presented
fucking...
to you by Caleb, the very, very loud and sweary one.
No.
Ethan, who's really the host here, and me, the fake host. I'm Alex. There's your intro. What are we doing?
Well, first of all, I'd like to clarify what is a series that did say F you to the fans. Because I feel like there is sometimes a difference between series that just fully did like a 180, just said, nah, fuck you, we don't love you anymore. And then there's just other series that just got bad at the end.
There's a difference between going down in quality as a series, and that's just the fault on
Naruto.
perhaps of the writers. But there's also the intentional fault of the creators going like, we understand what you want, what we've given you, what we've advertised to you as this thing. This is what we've marketed to you. This is what we've given you. This is what we've promised you, and we're going to just not do that anymore.
Ryan Johnson.
So let's start with Ryan Johnson, Star Wars.
Okay, Star Wars straight into it.
We're going the big boys.
Well, you started it.
Hey,
What do you want to talk about?
I get it. Ryan Johnson's a fuckwit.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson is a very capable director who's able to create wonderful films, including one of my favorite films, Knives Out. But unfortunately, not The Last Jedi. That was quite a miss, dare I say.
His name is spelt with E-N in it?
Yeah, it's a R-I-N.
Yeah.
R-E-N Johnson.
What the hell?
Yeah.
It's a weird one. It's fine. You get used to it. Once you start talking shit about him enough.
Okay, so I mean, like, The Force Awakens. I mean, look, I reckon that entire sequel trilogy probably wasn't going to be as good as the original, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have still been. Force Awakens wasn't even that bad, to be honest. It had problems that I began to see later on, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad. But then Ryan Johnson came along and says, man.
Well, it did its job. And its job was to be a copy of the first one. And then, ideally, they'd do something with it afterwards. They'd have a simple premise, one they knew that worked. It was unoriginal as fuck, but it was somewhere to start. That is not good, but it is at least not awful.
But it's also how they did everything. It's kind of like just shit.
Yeah, it was,
like there was just some things like I never liked Kylo Ren's character.
That's a shame. That's one of the things I'd like to. Kylo Ren is one of the few things I think the sequel trilogy did rather well.
The best character was Babu Frick.
Babu Frick.
But can you understand why I didn't like him at
least?
least?
No, I didn't like him either.
Where people come from, but I do also feel that as far as villains for Star Wars go, he was in the movies. I should clarify. He was one of the more interesting ones. He's a character which we actually got to go through what he went through, and understand what he went through.
But still, he's a dumb fuck.
We know he's a dumb fuck. I'm not saying he's smart. He
chooses the path of his grandfather, and it's not even the right path his grandfather led.
Yeah, because he's a fucking idiot. He's an edgy teen.
Yeah, and just have Grievous. Grievous is cool.
But it's also the reason. It's also the reason he went off and how they pinned it on Luke. Yet it's something that Luke would never have done.
Mm.
Like this is the same guy who, when every single person said Vader cannot be turned to the light, Vader is evil, you must kill him, he said, no, I'm going to try and save him. I'm going to try and bring him to the light because I believe that.
Bullshit.
But then he says, well, I have this vision of Kylo Ren going bad, so I'm going to kill him. What the fuck? What the fuck? Because of a dream, he decided to stop Kylo Ren. Yet even when he saw Vader kill one of his mentors, even even when he knows all the shit that Vader's done, he still believes that he can come to the light, and he still believes he can save him. You're telling me that the fundamental core of Luke's character, that being hope, is just not? And that's why Ryan Johnson's a fuckwit, because he doesn't understand. Any other character he possibly could have worked with, but Luke, it doesn't. That's not Luke's character. But even fucking Solo, even Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like a lot of his character that was done in the original trilogy was just sort of not done. Like, his entire point in the original trilogy was him caring about himself, but then eventually becoming a hero, becoming someone who cares about his friends and would actually sacrifice himself for them.
And then what do we see at the start of episode 7?
He cares about himself. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. What happened here? You know what I mean?
Although,
his son.
I understand what you're arguing with Luke's case, and I absolutely agree that I am not defending what they did to Luke. There are such things as character regression arcs and stories, and seeing characters fall from grace. And I can at least vaguely justify Han Solo, not Luke in any stretch.
But what I don't like is that the entire arc was going to getting that to that point, and by making him fall from grace, you diminish the arc he went through in the original trilogy. It's different if it would be different if in the original trilogy story that was largely finished. It was largely finished. It would be different that within that story he went through those arcs of going up then down and up again. But in this, they took an already finished story, took the arc from that, and did away with it, which diminishes what happened within that trilogy. And then they wonder why fans were so annoyed and why fans did not like the sequel trilogy. Well, because you literally take what they loved and you literally diminish the quality of it. And I think that's what they didn't understand.
Didn't Harrison Ford ask to die?
Yeah.
Han Solo,
Harrison Ford didn't actually like. I think Harrison Ford didn't actually like playing Han Solo. He thought it should have just been like a one movie thing. For
He wanted him to. I think he wanted him to die in Empire. That's why they froze him, because they thought he was not going to come back, but then he did.
Yeah. For the fans, I think.
Yeah.
More. Yeah. But then, of course, when Force Awakens happens, he's like, "Nah, kill me. I'm dying."
And they're going to do that anyway. Every single one of the sequel trilogy, they kill one of the main characters, and I think that's rather evident when you see the filmmakers did everything they could to kill off the past and try and make their own new thing. And
but
sure,
that just feels weird.
Finn's character could have been interesting. Poe Dameron could have been interesting. Rey was never interesting. And Kylo Ren could have been, but of course they all went nowhere. They just fucked the past and pretended they were doing something new. And they...
Don't get me started on Rey.
Rey was.
I won't. I don't want to talk about her.
But Rey was raised on a desert planet, yet she has a posh accent.
The accents and languages in Star Wars is nothing I'm going to criticize.
Yes, but I find it annoying.
You could be annoyed at all you want.
Maybe I think
maybe the accent on Jakku was posh.
She also had incredibly white teeth. That made no sense. Where's she get?
It's Star Wars, bro.
Where's the toothpaste?
I think the bigger problem for me was just the fact that I feel like they completely misunderstood, especially with what happened with Luke and Anakin and that entire. It's why I think it's quite disrespectful for them to have her call herself fucking Skywalker when she did absolutely none of the things. She didn't. I felt like she didn't go through the things that Luke and Anakin went through that made them such appealing characters, and the fact that they did eventually lose, they were shit, and then from that they became better. In Anakin's case, he became a fucking Darth Vader, but in Luke's case, he becomes arguably the truest form of a Jedi.
The
problem with Rey is that she had no. I felt like what they were trying to do with her is they were trying to make her a bit like Luke, a bit like Anakin, but then not having the nuance. Because they tried to make her... They made her very powerful, but then they made her like Luke on the desert planet. Yet Luke wasn't powerful to begin with.
Yeah.
He had that latent ability that he used to destroy the Death Star, but that was it. It was just a sense. It was not real. It wasn't fucking mind controlling.
No.
It wasn't any of that.
Yeah.
And then Anakin, they wanted her. They made her a bit more like Anakin because they tried to have her fucking teetering on the dark side. But then even Anakin, the reason Anakin was about to go to the dark side was because of Padme, because he was manipulated by Palpatine, right? Through his love and wanting to protect others, there was nuance there, right? Despite the problems of the prequels with all their dialogue or whatever, the actual arc of Anakin going to the dark side is very good. It's a very, in my opinion, it's a very interesting tale.
Even
And
Luke,
tragic one.
Luke never completed his Jedi training when he fought when he lost his hand, and like that edge of the line that he walked for episode 5 was such a good storytelling point of view and made me like Luke a little bit more.
And then, but you know, Luke loses to Vader.
Yeah.
When he has okay, so
And
Luke
that
has
was another
more.
thing, yeah.
Luke has more training, had more training than Rey did, and
Yeah.
he lost his hand to Vader. But Rey somehow beat the absolute shit out of Kylo Ren, despite having literally no training.
Yeah.
She talks with Luke for like a few seconds, and then she swings her blade around a couple of times.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is Anakin loses his hand. Luke loses his hand. They all lose, and they all get better. Her, why?
I think that's just one of the things.
The only real
though.
loss she experiences is the loss of the Resistance, if anything.
Yeah, I think, but I do think that's just
not
one.
her own loss.
But that's nothing to do with her. But that's nothing to do with her. The loss of the Resistance has nothing. It was
They try to
them.
make it seem like it did.
But
But it isn't, and that's the problem.
There is also this thing of like they obviously wanted to go bigger for Rey and all that crap, but like because they didn't want to redo and re-show like them training and doing the same shit before. Hence the same reason like in JoJo's, Harmon got stopped because Araki didn't want to keep doing people learning how to learn this thing. He changed it up and had stands. But instead of changing it up in Star Wars, they obviously just they upped the ante somehow, and because of that, there was a lack of quality.
And the problem I have with her isn't necessarily that she is powerful. If she got powerful by the end of it, then I'd be fine with that.
Yeah,
My problem is that she she was powerful from the beginning, and that felt very weird considering that Luke and Anakin weren't powerful at the beginning.
Anakin was like the chosen one.
Yeah. The only thing he did was fly pods really well, but it's like, well, but you don't see him fucking mind tricking people or fucking pulling lightsabers out of the ground. Yes, Luke did that in Empire Strikes Back, but at least Luke had that period, and at least Luke did have some mentorship. Like Obi-Wan did sort of explain to him what the Force is, and actually gave him that influence. And Obi-Wan was obviously still watching over him, so there was that. So at least that explains why he could do that. But then Rey with absolutely nothing. All she has to go on is myths.
Also, it was very hard to understand.
For some reason, do this shit.
I felt like it was very hard to understand going into Force Awakens. What the fuck happened? Like, because like we ended off Star Wars like defeating the Empire and all that crap, and somehow like a different version of the Empire is now back, and they're in control. It's like what?
Well, you can explain things.
That was very lazy. That was very lazy.
But it just felt lazy, and how they did it, especially like with the stormtroopers and stuff. They just said, "Oh, mind control." What? That wasn't the original plot line of stormtroopers. Stormtroopers were more people who were manipulated by normal war tactics and like. Yeah. Shit, like posters saying, "We need you."
It was propaganda. The original stormtroopers were propaganda. You know, the clone troopers were clones.
Yeah.
And these ones are mind control.
Yeah, which felt weird.
I don't particularly have a problem with that. I don't really have a problem with the premise of it. I don't care if it starts off with a different setting, as long as it explains it later. I don't care if they do it retroactively. I just care that they eventually explain it. But they can start off the story with like, remember how it was before. Now look at it now. It is now worse, and we have to find out why, and we need to make it better. Something has clearly gone wrong. That is not something I particularly have a problem with. Premise-wise, I don't actually have a problem with that when it comes to sequel trilogy. Execution-wise, of course, I have a problem with that. I'm playing devil's advocate a lot because I do think there are some things that can be there to praise, and I don't want us to just. I don't want to come off as just someone who only hates everything about it.
I was about to praise
Yeah,
Finn's
Finn was great.
Finn was great.
Except for Rise of Skywalker, but Rise of Skywalker.
No, they just kind of like threw away Finn's usefulness.
That was such a shame. That was such a shame. He had
actually
so much potential.
He was the most interesting character of all of them, honestly. Just because of his way and how he moved past being like a stormtrooper, like watching people die around him and then changing sides and all that crap. And he has like previous skills from it, being a stormtrooper, of course.
Janitor.
Yeah.
So
things like that, like pre-existing stuff, came in handy for him later
But
in
I
the
think
series.
I think it should have come into play a bit more, like the fact that he was a stormtrooper and how that affects him mentally. I do wish they went a bit more in that direction. Like perhaps he feels guilty about what some of the things they did, considering he worked for them.
Okay,
But
like Winter Soldier. Even though he was
Yeah.
mind controlled, he still feels no instance of guilt. He doesn't forget anyone he's killed.
Yeah.
And something like that, I think would have. That's why I think he was great, but I think there was a lot of wasted potential there.
Obviously,
just
like
didn't
ending the movie with like Luke.
The trilogy is wasted potential.
I feel like ending the movie with Luke was such a big high, as well. Because like, where's Luke? This whole time, it's like, where's Luke? What's he been doing? And to end the
And then
movie
we end with
Luke,
him and he takes off the hood and we're like, oh, it's Luke fucking Scott, yeah!
and then you go to the next movie. It's like, that's not Luke.
First off, I will once again say how they handled Luke Skywalker, absolutely awful. However, I'd be lying if I said I didn't burst out fucking laughing when he threw the lightsaber off the cliff.
I love that scene so much.
Like, of course, that whole movie, all of Ryan Johnson's bullshit is about subverting expectations. That really subverted my expectations. And it was funny as fuck. Doesn't mean you should have done it. That's something you should be seeing in, like, his he. Like, how it should have ended as, like, a joke they'd throw away.
But
not the actual film.
The problem with subverting expectations, and the problem I have with that is, are you familiar with Chekhov's gun?
Yes.
Yes.
If you have a gun in the first act, it must be fired by the third act.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sort of principle I don't like. Because subverting expectations, sure, it can be interesting in some cases. But constantly doing it, constantly saying what you think is going to happen doesn't happen. There's a reason that people, that writers put clues in their works. It's so people can theorize, they can realize things, they can guess things. And when it happens, it can be... And when you correctly guess them, it can be quite enjoyable. But to have everything being like, oh, you thought this? Oh no, you're wrong. It's just...
Alright. Yeah,
I can see how it can be...
Or if a twist is... Even if it is a twist, as long as you can... Like The Sixth Sense, you can rewatch and go like, ah! I see. But it's not what it's not what The Last Jedi did.
Even though I saw the twist coming, but that's
just because you're a god.
That's just yeah. But it's things like that. It's but like on that note, when I saw the twist coming, and when it happened, I'm like, that was enjoyable. Imagine if I came up with a twist and it was just some dumb explanation just to throw people off. Like, hang on a minute. I don't like it. Me personally, I suppose some people might, but I think I think when you do it too much, then it's
almost as shit as it was all a dream.
Yeah. Almost.
And then Snoke.
Almost.
Snoke was just a wasted villain. Snoke.
Like that's
I don't dislike Snoke. I didn't dislike Snoke. I just disliked.
I just thought it was wasted.
With the Emperor in the third one.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren portraying Snoke, I think was not actually a bad development. and then that whole fight inside the throne room, I quite enjoyed that, to be honest.
Hmm.
Because that
That was a
means
good
that once again I'm going to defend Kylo Ren's character here. He was someone who was still subservient to Snoke. He was still underneath someone who wanted to no longer be that character. He wanted to step up. He didn't want to be ruled anymore. He was still evil. He was still of First Order, but he wasn't going to just take orders anymore. I liked that. But I don't like the Emperor in this last movie. I don't like... That was a real fuck you defense. We killed this character 3 fucking episodes ago, but now we're going to bring him back for literally no reason. He survived that. He threw him into the middle of a fucking Death Star that exploded. He survived.
They literally did it because they're like, well, how do we fix this? I know, let's put a character that everyone likes, and try and pass it off as if he was behind everything.
Not good.
No, that was not good.
I think even Daisy Ridley said that they had no idea who Rey's parents were gonna be for the longest time until like the last minute. That is how poorly executed this shit was. Now, granted,
us not knowing to the last minute is fine. Them not knowing.
Granted, apparently they didn't. Obviously, Vader wasn't said to be Luke's father in A New Hope.
No, he just said he killed his
father.
father.
But it wasn't till the 6th one. George Lucas didn't not plan it till the 6th one. No. At least he did it early enough on to make it seem like that was always a thing.
Yeah, and the idea of, and even like when you go back and watch like the prequel trilogy, the idea of Anakin being killed by Vader still stands as what happens at the end, where we lose Anakin to the dark side, and Darth Vader is this new presence. So yes, Darth Vader did kill Anakin, Luke's father.
Yeah.
From a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view?
Yeah, from a certain point of view. So when people tell him like Darth Vader killed his father, because the man that he is currently is not his father.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's just I'll tell you what, I think it's why I blame Rian Johnson for the most part, and not too much JJ, because while I don't appreciate, I see the flaws in The Force Awakens, I think a lot of it was Rian Johnson doing his own thing, and then JJ having to fix it in number 6, and him trying to fix it. I think just made it even worse.
I think the problem is that they did try to fix it. Rian Johnson did something, and whether you like it or not, it happened. So why would you try and backtrack everything that happened in the film? I think one or two things. You think Rian Johnson never would have done it, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But I think that since he did, JD should have at least tried to go with it. Try and see what that could have been. Try and make it different. Try and make Rise of Skywalker.
I would have just stopped it right there. Fuck the sequel trilogy.
I mean, we still did get some.
See, I didn't hate Last Jedi initially as much as everyone else did. I was curious to see where they'd go with it, even the flaws were obvious as fuck. But I was willing to stick with it. I was even sticking with Rise of Skywalker for a long time. I let them do. I was watching that like, okay, fine, I'll accept that. Fine, that's stupid as fuck. I'll accept. Bobby Frick. I'll accept that. I accept this. And then, of course, it all just went severely downhill.
The one thing I find funny is like a lot more of like the older generation don't like the prequels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
My dad doesn't like the prequels.
Obviously, our generation is much more accepting of the prequels.
Yeah, you know why they're more accepting now? Because the sequels came out.
Yeah, because the sequels came out.
That is 100% what happened.
I love Anakin's story. Anakin is my favorite Star Wars character.
That was crazy. I remember before the sequels came out, everyone was bashing the prequels.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone was bashing the prequels still.
And
then the sequels came out, and then no one gave a shit anymore. They started praising the prequels because it's like, well, you know, at least they're better than this shit.
Mm.
Oh, that was
Episode
so
3
funny.
became a massive meme.
That was so funny.
Everyone fucking watched that shit.
Episode 3.
I love
Episode
watching
3 is my favorite.
Good. Mine too.
Such a good movie. So enjoyable.
My second favorite. It's my second favorite.
Mm.
Well, tied, but sort of.
Well, you're a simp for what's it? Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
At least it felt weird because it's like we had all these shit movies, and then we also got Rogue One, And Rogue One was a banger.
Rogue One
Rogue
was,
One was amazing.
bro, they did so well with that. Fuck yeah. That was I love that. I love that film. They did so.
They as well. They had characters who could use the Force in it, but not to a ridiculous amount. It was much
And
more
the-
like just a slight sense.
And the characters
evolve
weren't
slowly.
just the characters weren't just their entire character is what they can do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was more to their characters. It was thought out, and it's because it was. And I'll tell you why I reckon it was good. Because it was a single movie. They couldn't just say, "Well, we're gonna get Jyn Erso, and then we're gonna do this story for her here, but we're not gonna finish it. We're gonna let the next guy finish it." No, they have to finish it.
Yeah.
Then the next guy finishing it is George Lucas 30 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to finish it, and because they had to finish it, it actually felt like a complete story that was thought
And it
out.
was all the character arcs it ended,
Oh.
all that, all the conclusions for all the characters. Very, very conclusive conclusions.
Mm.
I liked that they had a story within. They had these restrictions of what they could do with the story, and they thrived within them.
And then they decide, and then they do fan service how it should be done at the end there.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
Big man.
genuinely one of the best scenes in Star Wars.
I'm
Perhaps
so biased to
And it
fan
just
service.
fits in so perfectly as well.
It does.
I always love to see when something just fits. It's just the puzzle piece that just fits in, but it's like it's not a real puzzle, of course.
And then
thinking
a
like,
few
oh,
years
When we,
later-
went, when we binged Star Wars, did we watch Rogue One?
no,
No,
Oh,
I
we
think so.
skipped it.
it's a shame.
I watched Rogue One alone.
And then there was
After
there's
watching the
Mandalorian,
sequels.
which just goes to show it is
Yeah, the
just
Star Wars
right.
can still do
Bro,
good.
Bro, John Favreau, man, what a fucking
What
G.
a legend.
What a fucking mad cunt.
We skipped one.
Oh, Solo?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Solo. Yeah.
Solo was good. It was good.
I really enjoyed Solo.
That
Much
was
better than Six.
though that was the peak of fan service to me.
Yeah.
Like everything we got with Han Solo was like little drops and pieces of his backstory.
Oh,
and
here's
that
the
movie
castle
was
rock.
like, let's just like grab it all and mash it into a ball, and here's the movie.
I gotta rewatch
That's
that.
not really a problem, because as a fan, I got all giddy every time it happened.
Yeah.
Like, it's Linda, it's a ship,
It's
it's a
also
castle rock,
I
love
found
it."
it to be one of the more
In
enjoyable.
hindsight, it's a decent film.
I did find it to be one of the more enjoyable movies.
Mm.
The only thing that I got like a little bit confused on, of course, was the plot thread with Darth Maul.
Which didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, which didn't go anywhere.
It might go somewhere. Yeah, we might see him in Mandalorian actually, because we're getting
Yeah,
we got a
that's what I was
Ahsoka.
hoping for.
We've got what's her name? The female Mandalorian with the red hair. What's her name?
I don't know.
I
she's
Ginger.
Yeah.
She's the shit from the Clone Wars and all that. Fuck.
Yeah, so we can
I
get a
haven't
haul
watched
back through that as well in other shows. Oh, and the what's his name? His name's Boba Fett. That's coming out very
That's-
fucking soon.
Wait, what's coming out?
The Book of
Boba
Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett.
It's
That
coming
is
out
coming out
very
soon,
soon.
isn't it? It is.
Very soon.
Oh right, this.
December.
Right.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
I
the
think
plot through can go somewhere. What
the
am I
problem
saying?
with I think what happened with Solo is the reason it didn't do as well is because it came out after Last Jedi and all the fans were having roughly so.
Yeah.
I was having a sook, and basically the idea was everyone wanted them to boycott Solo, and just because they didn't want because they were displeased with what fucking Disney was doing, and that's why it didn't succeed as well.
I know a
as
lot of the
the
hate for this film was because of the actor, for Han Solo. Not that he was bad, they just really think that, like, and sure, I don't disagree, that no one can really capture Han Solo like Harrison Ford could. It was a very Harrison Ford character, and someone else had to do it.
Yeah.
I think he did wonderfully.
I think he did. a
He's
good
not
job.
Han Solo. He's not Harrison Ford, so I won't compare him to him. Harrison
Exactly.
Ford can't get younger. This is what we're getting. It's the best we're getting, and frankly, it's amazing.
I mean, he can't get younger.
I feel like I feel like
You want a
could have
whole
had
film of young
you could have
CGI
had a
Harrison
worse
Ford?
person play the role.
You could have.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So perfect casting was Donald Glover, Lando Calrissian.
I like that.
Oh, he was-
Donald Glover's good.
He was good. He was good.
Just because everyone loves Donald Glover.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he's like, oh, he's Lando. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lando's pansexual. Fuck yeah, he is. He'll fuck a robot.
Yeah.
That just sounds like such a Lando thing to do. I don't know why. It just feels like he'd try and get with a robot.
I saw people boycotting, not boycotting, like annoyed at that how they changed that Lando Calrissian's sexuality. And on one hand, sure, but on the other hand, of course he is. Have you seen him? Have you met him? Who fuck a robot?
What even is the current timeline of Star Wars, including
No
animated
idea.
stuff?
What's coming soon?
No, like just the overall timeline. Like, if you were to watch it from beginning in chronological order of everything.
Oh, I don't know what it is now.
Prequels is first, isn't it? Or is it
If
something
we
before
exclude,
prequels?
It depends if you're including Legends or not.
Okay.
I don't know which one's Legends.
Before Disney bought it, a lot of the comics and shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay. What if you just ignore all comics and just go watching? If you're just gonna watch it.
Okay, so just all
The movies?
all the movies and shows?
Movies,
Including animated?
TV shows, cartoons.
Well, you'd start with Phantom Menace, and then you'd go to, what's the bitch called? Attack of the Clones, then the entirety of the Clone Wars. I don't know when the Bad Batch takes place, but I assume around then. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, because the last season of Clone Wars ties directly into episode 3.
Yeah.
So then episode 3. After that, there's a Kenobi show coming. I think that one's going to be next. But there's also
right, I
Rebels.
forgot about the Kenobi show.
Rebels has Ahsoka and Darth Maul in it, and that's like somewhere in the middle. Mandalorian is soon after Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I think, because we see a spoiler alert, by the way, at the end of season 2, Luke Skywalker as a very
such
trilogy. No wait, that's I'm wrong. Hang on, no, Mandalorian takes place after that. Sorry, I mixed it up. No, then you go Rogue One, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, then Return of the Jedi, then the Mandalorian. Yeah, Mandalorian comes after. There are a bunch of books as well, which explains what happened to Jar Jar and Lando. I haven't read them and I don't care. Mm-hmm. And then there's the sequel trilogy. Oh, it's Solo. I missed Solo back before Rebels. Yeah, it takes like 15 years before. Before A New Hope. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, there's the Star Wars Resistance TV show, which has the Resistance, so that's a sequel trilogy TV show. It's animated. I've never seen it. Don't care to.
Oh, that's right. I still got to finish Visions.
In Star Wars Visions, which
Visions doesn't count though.
Doesn't count in anything. I know conclusively where one of the stories takes place in the timeline, and that's because it fucking showed it to you. It was like, this is what happened, and this is what happened next. Yeah, and that's it.
Which episode is it?
Do you want to know?
What episode number? Like, just what number is it?
It's episode 2.
Oh, okay, then I've seen that.
Oh, yeah, so that one takes place after, just after, what's it called? My favorite one that I've forgotten the name of, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one where we know where that takes place. And every other one, I'm assuming takes place well before Phantom Menace. Because the Sith still exist for a lot of them.
True.
But, I don't actually have a lot of knowledge of Legends and shit.
Fair.
Also, there's a Clone Wars movie that I don't know where that takes place. It has Shaggy in it.
Shaggy.
Oh, yeah! But I think that was a Legends cut. I think that one was Legends. I think it's Legends.
That's just a fucking meme.
I think the only shit that like survived like Disney's retconning was Clone Wars. Yeah.
The movies. That was just because it was rather popular.
Yeah.
Clone Wars is good though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's amazing. It's why I came to love Star Wars. Like, I saw all the Star Wars movies when I was young, but it was when I was a bit older, less than 10 still, and I'd watch it on ABC3, and I'd be like, oh, Star Wars! And then I became invested in its world, and Anakin, and Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, specifically.
Yeah, but Ahsoka's great.
That I actually got into Star Wars and into its world, because it explored more than what the movies could. And then, of course, got into the movies. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I like Revenge of the Sith, because it was like peak Obi-Wan and Anakin. Yeah. That I came to know and love in the show. This has just become a Star Wars conversation. We're not talking shit anymore.
So what? It's just a discussion video. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I fucking love Star Wars. I remember at the start of uni, around new people, like, be very quiet. But I was in a conversation on a table with random people. That, I now consider friends, and we just have a conversation at lunch between classes. Right, and I'm wearing a Naruto shirt, so one of them notices that I'm being quiet. They try to bring the conversation. They start bringing up anime. I don't say shit. I try to, but I can't. Like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Quiet. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Quiet. Someone brings up Star Wars. I have an opinion. I have a fucking opinion on that. And suddenly I'm leading the conversation. So
Imagine having friends in uni.
Yeah,
imagine not.
Bro, how am I meant to make friends?
Good fucking luck. That's how. I believe I wore a fucking bright yellow Naruto t-shirt to uni. I'll do it again, but I can't believe I did it.
Fine. We can move on from Star Wars to a different sci-fi. Caleb, go ahead.
The one where I can yell at fucking Chimnel.
Yeah.
He's a fuckwit. Okay.
I want to hear this.
Okay. So, the next one is Doctor Who. Chimnel's a fuckwit. Is the essential idea. So...
Wait, so the first topic was Ryan Johnson's a fuckwit. Now it's
Chris Chimnel, yeah.
Yeah, it's Chibnall.
So he's just a shit writer. To be completely honest with you,
Didn't you write?
he's all right with single episodes
Yeah.
of something, but he's not good as a showrunner
No.
as well. I don't because so he did an episode in another series with the 11th Doctor, which is one with the chin, Alex, the young one with the chin. If that helps paint you a picture, he did an episode for that, and it was all right. It wasn't the greatest episode, but it was good. But I think it was all right then because it was just that single episode, and it wasn't like this overarching thing which he tries to have control over,
Yeah.
yet fucks it up. But then when he gets his own series,
He just completely fucked everything.
he's just rash shit.
Hmm.
So I think the biggest I suppose problem with it. I mean, I'll try and leave Timeless Child for a bit after because that's a huge can of worms. But the problem he has is I don't. How do I put it? I think with the way he writes the Doctor, primarily, I think it didn't feel like a good continuation of what was Capaldi's Doctor. I don't feel like he wrote it in a way where, because normally the Doctor tends to play off the they tend to play off the villain that they're facing.
Yeah.
Right, whoever they're facing, they play off them. You know, they sort of try and get a bit of control, whether that be morally, verbally, whichever, or intellectual control even. And it's why in The Haunting of like Villa Didati, which is one of the few episodes that are actually very good, and one of the few episodes that he didn't write, she actually, when she's interacting with the Cyberman, she's the Doctor. She feels like the Doctor.
Yeah.
The way she bounces off the Cyberman, the way the Cyberman bounces off of her in that conversation, I feel makes it feel like everyone else who came before her. And I think that's one of the problems with how she's written sometimes, is that she doesn't exactly feel like she's that connected to the other Doctors in some cases.
I think I always argue with the progression the Doctor had over the New Who era. Because you can really see a progression through each and every Doctor until you get to Jodie's Doctor, which has a weird disconnect from the emotional transformation of the Doctor over time.
Yeah. So the problem isn't the actor, but
The
street. What's it called?
She's a good actor, but Chimnel can't fucking.
Yeah. Like, there are some points where it's like the doctor would have said, spoken up to someone going through a hard time, and instead she just pats him on the back and walks away. And there's also this great disconnect between the doctor and the companions as well, which comes up as well in the series when it's like when they ask who the fuck she is.
Okay, Alex, imagine I'm gonna paint you a picture here, right? So imagine the doctor is in the TARDIS, and one of the companions says to her is expressing his worries and concerns and his anxieties about how his cancer might return.
Bruh.
And
I don't like where this is going.
He feels as if, I mean, he's asking for help because he considers her a friend, and she has a lot of experience. She's very wise, so of course she will find the right words to say.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what she said to him?
Good luck?
No, she said.
Tough shit?
She said, "This is the part where I should probably say something really supportive, but because I can't think of something to say, I'm just gonna go over here and pretend to play with the controls until I can think of something."
Did she think
And
of
she
something?
never. No.
No.
And that's it. That's the end of the scene.
Bruh.
No.
No.
No, Doctor.
No.
None of them, except maybe first.
Yeah, first
Except
is
maybe the
the
first when he was at the beginning, maybe. But every other Doctor would not have done that.
No.
Would not have done that. They would have said something. They would have tried to comfort them in some way. 11th Doctor, when Vincent Van Gogh was like, was obviously expressing his depression and anxieties that would have led to his suicide. Do you know what the 11th Doctor did? He took him into the future to see an art gallery, and he got someone he went up to someone and asked him,
the director of the
where
art
does
gallery.
the director, and asked him, where does Vincent Van Gogh lie? And he says that Vincent Van Gogh is one of the best artists of all time. He does that much to try and help this person that it's not even a companion, it's not even a friend. But this fucking Stonato can't fucking comfort a friend.
Yeah. There was also a lot of plot lines that focused on.
That's not the Doctor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. That
There were also a lot of plot
they
lines that
yeah.
really felt weird, and it focused a little bit more on like the social justice crap, which the Doctor Who has never really been about.
I mean, it's Doctor Who has.
It's more like how they delivered them in these episodes, which didn't feel good.
I'll give you a good example, right? I'll give you a good example. There was actually an episode in the classics where he sort of did something very similar, where it was about the environment and how the environment's getting fucked. And I think it was the one where basically what these people were trying to do is they were trying to set Earth back to the dinosaur age so that Earth wouldn't be as fucked as it is. And by the end of it, the Doctor sort of says to the Brigadier, well, yeah, they were idiots and they were wrong. They still had sort of a point. And he sort of explained it to them, but in such a way where it didn't feel like he was lecturing the audience.
Yeah.
It was more he was telling the people around him, just be a little bit careful. But it wasn't done in this lecturing way. It wasn't done in this way like they were lecturing to the audience. It was given in a way like a take it or leave it sort of manner. Like, take from this episode what you want.
There's even some
Be it a lesson or be it not. And the Doctor Who does it. I'll tell you what. I will say this. Doctor Who has always had politics in some way.
Yeah.
Doctor Who has always had some sort of message in regards to that. But the difference is the way it does it. The way it speaks to the audience and tries to say, look at this, racism is bad. No fucking shit. But have some nuance. Take the episode where she doesn't talk to him about the depression. That entire episode was about mental health, was about depression. So where's the fucking nuance? The one with Rosa when they go meet Rosa Parks. Wouldn't it be more
They
interesting?
meet Rosa Parks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they become a part of sitting on the bus.
Okay, I'll tell you what. That was a good.
That was a good scene.
That was
Because
actually.
Graham wouldn't get up. Nah.
But it was because of that whole coming part of the system. Like you go back in time,
Yeah.
you don't know what's gonna happen. You could be the cat, but it's like Pompeii, when they try to stop Pompeii, but they cause Pompeii, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of the episode, I felt like was very one dimensional. Who's the villain? A racist from the future.
Yep.
Like
It was just it was a complete random character who could just time jump. It's like what?
it's boring.
Yeah.
At least with the Daleks.
Yeah, but
They're aliens,
yeah, but
and
he
they
also
have
said
their
fuck.
own force.
Yeah.
And the Daleks, and here's the thing about the Daleks. Sure, they're space Nazis, but they, especially in New Who, they bounce off the Doctor.
Yeah.
They reflect the Doctor. This is just a space racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
Stories should be like, it should be a message you're trying to say through these characters,
Exactly,
through their actions,
yes.
through what they're doing.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have a message, have a theme to it. You don't just go like racism bad and then cut.
and then there's the
It's a
companions
story
themselves.
you have to tell.
Graham is a Chad though.
And
Graham's
clearly-
alright, but I
clearly
think-
you know it's
Graham
a
is a
story.
Chad.
All of them, I think the problem is they don't seem to go through as much.
Yeah.
I want to say development, especially Yaz. Yaz,
Yeah, this is
I
the
don't know
mistake.
she wasn't there for anything. The problem with her is
She had the Indian episode.
I'll tell you what she's like. I'll tell you what she's like. She's like Finn,
Yeah.
because she was a cop, right? Well, she is still a cop,
Yeah.
right? But at no point does the fact that she is a cop come into play.
No.
At no point does she seem to have maybe an authoritative attitude towards anything because she's a cop. At no point does she go back in time, see something that's unjust or not right, and try to use her experience as a cop to do that. Meanwhile, Martha, who was a doctor, we actually saw at times her using her doctor knowledge to
Yeah.
do stuff, to explain stuff, to show that she was actually she actually knew what the fuck she was talking about.
Mm.
Ryan got a bit better, I think.
Ryan was more of a force for like development due to his own like problems. I forget what he had.
Yeah.
He had, like,
But I
whatever.
still think they could have done a bit more with him.
Yeah.
You know, I think and then they just brought Jack, and then they brought Jack back, and
Captain Jack.
they did like nothing.
He
there. That
kissed
was-
Graham.
Yeah, that's well, that was very, very good.
It was always so Captain Jack is a previous character all the way back from David Tennant's run.
Yes.
Oh no, previously
is
it was
a
David
10?
Tennant. It was Eccleston he came in.
Oh, he was.
He
Yeah,
was
no, he
excellent,
was. Yeah.
excellent. Yeah, so he's been
Yeah.
in it since the beginning of New Who, okay? So he comes back and he picks up Graham to give him a message because he thinks like, oh, you're the Doctor, because most of them are like old white men. And he kisses him,
And,
thinking that he is the Doctor.
By the way, Alex, do you know The Chase, the game show shit?
Yes, under the other change.
The English one, the host of that is Graham Bradley Walsh, which is very funny, just seeing him get kissed by Captain Jack. Anyway,
Jack is amazing.
and then the big sort of, I suppose, elephant in the room
Time
is
of Child.
Thomas Child.
Mm,
So, Alex, for context, basically what they did is, so the Doctor's a Time
Ethan
Lord.
loves it.
The Doctor's a Time Lord.
I'm familiar.
Well, compared to, yeah, I'll just say what the old continuity
Yeah.
was. She was a Time Lord from Gallifrey, and they're men who have time abilities, timey-wimey abilities. I'm not exactly well versed on the old history of like where they got it from, but I'm pretty sure they invented certain things.
This is a
and
highly
energies.
advanced society.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was obviously born into it. just as any other Time Lord was,
Yeah.
and grew up in
And
that society,
raised and trained,
and eventually they
looked
sort
into
of
the
didn't
time
like,
spiral.
yeah, and they didn't. They eventually she didn't obviously like what they were doing. She thought they were full of shit, and she left.
So
And
no,
that's what happened.
she stole a TARDIS and went on her
Well,
way.
he at the time stole TARDIS, and
They would probably suffice.
they but
If you go he, she, just they.
and basically that was it. All the Doctor really wasn't someone special. The Doctor was just someone who left Gallifrey because they didn't like what the fuck the Time Lords were doing,
Yeah,
and they
there was
wanted to
nothing
get out
really.
there and experience the world.
There was nothing special about
Well,
the Doctor. He was just someone who chose a different path.
They decided to make the entire reason the Time Lords can regenerate because the Doctor was a child from another universe that was found on this pedestal, and some Stornato took her and fucking reverse engineered the regeneration from her and put it into Time Lords, and that's how Time Lords were created.
But
and
then
then they wiped her memory.
Yeah.
So she doesn't remember it. So she has all this past beforehand that she just doesn't remember, and she's the reason the Time Lords were created.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but it's so confusing because now that means the Doctor is the origin of all regenerations. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Time Lords have a set number of regenerations.
Yep.
We broke through that barrier, of course, but it was actually part of the story about how we broke through and got another set of lives. But with this plot thread, that was useless, and it's kind of also showing like everything the Doctor did and all the choices he made in the past kind of alter a bit and alter a lot, just based on this random plot thread. And there was also this thing because like the Master was the thing who figured it out first, and like we had just gotten Gallifrey back, right? After such a long time of Gallifrey being dead after the time skip in the middle, and then we just have this shit, and it's like what? The Master just destroyed them all again just because he became crazy again over the fact that everything comes from the one person he always fights. And like what?
Alex. Okay, imagine if I'm trying to think of a series that this would work with. Let's take a recent one, Bleach. Let's just take Bleach, right? Imagine if Ichigo left the Soul Society because he didn't really like them, and then the Soul Society was there for like 100 episodes, and then they make up that the Soul Society was completely and utterly destroyed. Okay, then that plays a massive part in his character for like 100 episodes more. Then they have a massive story where they bring the Soul Society back due to timey-wimey bullshit.
Yeah.
And then 100 episodes later, they destroy it again.
Not even 100 episodes later.
Not even, yeah. And I just destroy it again.
More like 20.
And you know why they destroy it? Because Uryu had a sook that Ichigo was somehow the origin of all Soul Reapers.
Yeah.
Right.
That is essentially what they
Uryu had a sook.
Yeah. Well,
That's
it was so dumb, and it was just I was understating it. Like Gallifrey's absence during that time was such a big deal. It influenced the Doctor so much, and to say
even
after
how he
all that
reacted
shit
to
happened,
things, like
and after all that to say we're just going to destroy it again.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
With no consequence, with no meaning towards
Why?
the story, no, just nah.
And the biggest problem I have is with a timeless child isn't even what like the law. I mean, I'll put it like this: if it was the Master that was the timeless child, I wouldn't even be that.
Oh, I would
annoyed.
be fine with the Master being the timeless child.
The problem
That
I
would actually
had,
make a lot more sense considering what the Master has done.
the problem I have is the fact that they took a character whose only special trait was that they were bad at being what they were supposed to be, that being a Time Lord. The only thing that made the Doctor special was that unlike the other Time Lords, he didn't just sit there and just debate. He actually went out in the universe to see what the fuck was going on, to explore. And along the way, he helps out. He just helps out and he just does that, right? That's what makes him special. It isn't some bullshit thing that he's the beginning of all fucking Time Lords. That's not what makes a Doctor special. What makes him special is that pretty much like there's this great episode in the 10th Doctor's run where this other guy uses this alien device and he gets all the memories of the Doctor and he becomes the Doctor during that time.
He
And
thinks he's the
my
Doctor.
takeaway from that was that the Doctor isn't just someone who is special because they're a Time Lord, that's what makes them them. No. It's how they go about things. It's how they go around helping. It's their ideals, what they believe in. I think that's what makes it. And to say, well, the Doctor's now special because of this, I don't see a point to that. I never saw the point to making them special because of. I didn't see a point, and if anything, it goes against it. Because in the fucking story before, before Joey's run, the last sort of quote unquote episode, they even further explore that by Bill asking, the first Doctor why he left Gallifrey. The first Doctor says that the reason he did is because he wanted to find out why good always prevails, why love always prevails.
Yeah.
Because good by its very nature shouldn't win.
And the answer, maybe it's just a bloke helping
Literally.
out.
And he had no idea, right? And he asks her, what do I ever find out why good always wins? And she says, maybe it's just a bloke. And he's confused.
And you also have to consider, like, from the first Doctor's life to the current Doctor who's there, is like thousands of years between them. There are thousands of years. So you have all this development, and the two of them are meeting each other. And you can just valiantly see how much they have changed. And I think that's part of the reason why I love the Doctor so much. And then when you go into the Jodie's run and all that shit, it just feels like there's a great disconnect between all the development we had gone through. Because, like, the one thing I praise so goddamn much about New Who's era is you have Eccleston, who really was like, he is the man who just came out of the war. He to himself thought he murdered everyone. Everyone, all of his people, including all the Daleks as well. And he had to struggle with this. And we even see that when, like with the episode we showed you, when he comes in face to face with a Dalek, and you see the anger he has on his face. You see what happens. And obviously through Rose as well, Rose Tyler, the companion of that season, that helps Eccleston's Doctor move on and kind of continue till he becomes Tennant. And Tennant as a character still has this deep connection and deep scar on his heart due to the war. And also other Time Lords. And then moving past that and pushing into the 11th Doctor. The 11th Doctor has finally decided to, like, forgive himself for what he's done. And then it even continues on and pushes forward with this ideal of the Doctor has gone through all this dread and hate and hatred for himself, and over time he's just become slowly better.
Chimnal, nah.
And then of course the latest, or not the latest Doctor, Capaldi's Doctor. Capaldi is know what truly happened and how he didn't actually kill everyone. He has these thoughts, and we really see, like, now he has the freedom to kind of be whatever he wants, but he still holds a lot more tension between people from Gallifrey, other species who always try and kill everyone or whatever. And I think he just focuses more on himself, and then it evolves to just a blank space with no real development.
There's a brilliant video for anyone who's interested, made by JXC. It's 5 hours, very fucking long. But it is a very good
Yeah.
video that concisely goes over. It concisely criticizes Chibnall's Doctor Who in such a good way. It goes over he puts into words why this Doctor Who, why Chibnall's Doctor Who is shit so well. So I couldn't recommend it enough because it's. And a lot of people, I remember when it came out, a lot of people because like why do you have to make a 5-hour video on Doctor Who? Well, because it's shit and there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you do like a breakdown of like each and every episode, telling us why it was bad and shit?
Yeah. And he went over a lot of. I suppose a lot.
Don't get us wrong. There are some good episodes.
Oh yeah.
Like
Spyfall was good.
the episode with the other Doctor, right, in the latest season. That was actually a good episode.
Yeah, that was
However,
good. But,
it led into the Timeless Child.
and I think their explanation was. They never really explained it, but
Yeah.
I think it was a stupid explanation.
And even still,
Ah,
it was like
Dr. Patel.
this. I forget the actor's name, but like that Doctor could have fit in to the current timeline of what we know. Until they changed everything with the Timeless Child bullshit.
It would have been.
Kind of
It would have been such.
Nah.
It would have been such a good explanation, but no.
And then also you had Chibnall's decision to not include Daleks. He tried to not include Daleks into season 1.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that too much, but
it was more like there was nothing for the fans or continuing on. He tried to disassociate himself with everything that came before a bit. Like you have the Fez and just as a cameo just for fans.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't look at this Doctor and go like, oh, this is where you start from. There are so many other good places to start from. The 11th Doctor is a good starting point. Or just go back to the 9th.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
That. So, anyway, I think we've prattled on about Doctor Who.
No, we need more sci-fi. Ben 10.
What'd you say?
I want to know what did he do? What decisions has he made that you like?
Bringing Jack back.
Yeah, having Jack shoot the ground.
Bringing back characters he didn't make.
Yes,
his fan favorites.
Look, I love Captain Jack. He is amazing. He's my favorite character.
Is that all?
Okay.
That's the only thing good he's done?
That's it.
Okay. I will give one, I suppose. I don't like the design of it too much, but I did find it cool when she made her own sonic screwdriver from like scraps. I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, there was also a great disconnect of just the TARDIS just being there.
Yeah, the TARDIS.
The TARDIS had no real role, purpose. It was just a taxi.
Yeah. But I would see the TARDIS in an episode, I'm like, oh, right, this is Doctor Who, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, no, bro, that's sad. Whenever that happens, when you're like, oh, fuck, that's
There
what
was
I'm
also
watching this.
too many episodes that focused on the social justice shit. And it did it badly as well. I feel like there was too many episodes that just did, alright, this we're doing about this topic, this topic, this is this topic, and it didn't work.
We done this topic yet? No, we haven't. We'll do that now.
This isn't something like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which takes political topics and then runs its own storylines. And
it drives them into the ground.
It's an anti-sitcom, but it also shows you all the different viewpoints, like the gang choosing different sides, and how the gang doesn't develop over this because realistically it just doesn't work.
Who sees the social justice topic and go like, this will change me?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's enough complaining about Doctor Who. What one have we got next?
I don't know, Ben 10, another sci-fi.
Ben 10. Ben 10, I don't think will take too.
Nah, it's not gonna take too long.
Primarily because I have not seen all of the reboot. Now,
But
I have
the reboot's
heard.
existence is the.
I have heard that later on it gets better.
But
However,
it's not.
as Alex and Nathan knows, I don't like that excuse. But
Yeah.
I'm just prefacing that by saying that apparently it does find its own. But the problem I have, as Nathan said, is the idea of a reboot. I didn't think it was a very good idea for two reasons. Well, no, one reason, but it's because when someone watches it, there's going to be two possibilities.
Mm.
Well, also, actually, no. Let me paraphrase that. There are two possibilities they want from people. They want to get new. They either want to get new fans,
Yep.
which I think is what they wanted to do,
And
also get the old fans to still like it. Here's my problem. Well, the old fans are still gonna prefer what came before and the world that came before.
Yeah.
So by rebooting it and changing it, you're gonna piss them off. If you want to get new fans, well, okay, here's what's gonna happen. They're gonna watch a season of the reboot. If they really like it, they're gonna be like, "Fuck, I want to watch more Ben 10." So then they're gonna go and watch the old one anyway,
And the old one is.
and then they're gonna prefer it because it's a better series.
Yep.
So I don't understand. What's the point?
Money. Kids buy toys.
Literally.
That's
Even then,
primarily
you know,
the reason.
The art style very much also suits the current generation. They could rerun the original one, but it'll be too different for the 5-year-old audience.
Yeah.
Which is the target audience for this show. So for most kids shows, I should say.
but
If you do want to continue on with Ben 10, there is that great comic of Ben 10 and Danny Phantom.
oh, but that's
The fan made. It's fan made, but it's still really good. It's
good, but
it's made well. But it's not canon, of course. But still, it's for future
It's
content.
fan made. It's got Danny Phantom in it.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not canon.
I mean,
but-
yeah, they're both from different fucking franchises. One's from Nickelodeon, one's from Cartoon Network.
Very different.
And but the thing is, like, when I was 5, and I saw that old the art style they had, I fucking liked it.
Oh yeah, because
I don't know
of
why
that.
you
And
need
when
this
you were
smooth
5,
shit.
when you were 5, that was like the standard.
Yeah, it
that
really
was a
was. Like,
fan.
you have, like, what, Teen Titans when we were kids? Like, the original 2003 animation.
The only thing I'll give them
Yeah.
is that the Omnitrix he gets in season 2, the one with the green, the more green on it, that looks good. That looks good.
Yeah.
So Alex, you know on the original Omnitrix how it's got those white tubes on the side? Those tubes are now coloured, so they're either green or red.
Ben 10
depending on-
reboot season 2 Omnitrix. Let's have a look.
But then, even then, like, still a lot of people didn't like how Omniverse's
Like it looks cool. I dig that one. It looks pretty nice.
Obviously, people didn't like how Omniverse's changed the style up a bit.
Yeah,
And
I
even
didn't
me,
like it,
usually with Kevin and Gwen, they looked weird as hell.
but at least it was okay. They did some dumb things.
Yeah.
They did Ultimate Alien and Omniverse did some dumb things, but at least it was the same world. At least it understood that that's what made Ben 10 interesting is the world, right? No, fuck the world. You know, we're gonna have fucking Michael Morningstar be this little dickhead.
Like, even Omniverse, it's a continuation of what everyone knew.
Sorry, that's
Like, the
the
reason why Omniverse works so well is because you could still be an old fan watching it, and it's still that continuation of Ben 10. But because of the more cartoony style of this newer generation, there's still that, like, merchandise type aspect for young kids who can still enjoy this type of stuff.
But I don't understand. I can still enjoy the other one. I don't know what the fuck's. I don't want to say objectively, but it's better.
You do.
The old one was just better. It is what it is.
Yeah.
From the character. The characters were. I don't know what the fuck they did with Max. I have no fucking clue.
Oh, Max is not.
That first season in the original one, where fucking you see Vilgax when he's driving and he sees Vilgax fighting Ben, and he just fucking turns straight around and goes the other way, and you can see he shit himself. He's like, fuck. right? I know this guy. This guy is not to be messed with, and it adds this mystery. Like, how the fuck does he know this guy?
Actually, it was there from like very early
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Even when they're on the campfire, and he says
you're
he's
an
not a
alien.
monster. He's an alien.
Yeah.
Like, the
What?
fuck do you know that?
He knows.
Oh.
Yeah, he knows. He fucking
knows-
knows.
And he doesn't exactly know that it is the Omnitrix. He even has theories. He thinks it could be, but he doesn't know for sure. But the new one, he's just a boomer. That's all they did. That's literally what they did. They just said he's just the grandfather, the dumbass
Yeah.
grandfather,
Yeah. That's exactly what they have done.
bro.
I saw a
should've
clip where they made to Ben 10,000 look fat and boring.
Did they actually?
Apparently.
Okay.
Oh, I'll have to look.
I remember when I was fucking 9 and seeing Ben 10,000 for the first time. The wildest shit in the planet. Awesome as
Oh,
fuck.
what the fuck is that?
What is it?
I'm so glad I brought it up. Like, I didn't want to say anything because I haven't seen it. I don't know anything. I just saw a picture online. I'm so glad I mentioned it. Your take, Caleb? He's broken.
He is.
What the fuck?
Yes.
You good?
I don't like it.
Oh, of course you
Granted, of
Bro,
course.
fucking Ben 10K was a fucking chad.
don't. Right?
What the fuck?
Obviously, Ben 10 has changed. It's what, like 10-minute episodes? Because
Sure.
that's about the next generation's attention span. It's 10 minutes.
That's alright.
But they have little. They have
Ours have
so
evolved. Our
Right.
attention span has evolved to 2 hours.
They have so little faith. They have so little faith in the new generation. Like, what the and look, I don't blame them. They are fucking dumb. But still, when I was a kid, I wasn't thinking fucking.
I felt very old when I was talking to my cousin, who's obviously a lot younger. Like she's like born the last year of Generation Z, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't know Bananas in Pajamas wasn't a cartoon.
Huh?
Because obviously when she was watching cartoons,
People like that
was the only one.
exist?
There was the cartoon one, and it's like, what? What? I feel old. I used to watch them in the fucking banana
Like
suits.
actual people's
Yeah.
banana suits.
And the rat suit.
Bro, the rat in the hat was a pop. What? It was a G.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
And it's like, oh no,
Rat in the hat.
you
man.
don't
What,
you don't
what a
know
mad cunt.
you don't know the pain you cause on me. Oh,
Bro. No, okay. No. So
Everyone
I'll
was
always mention this. This is when I felt old. Right? It was in the movie Pixels, right?
Mm.
Alright, and the kid's talking with Adam Sandler's character, and he says,
Yep.
Adam Sandler says, I played the classic games. And he means Pac-Man, right?
Yeah.
And then the kid says, oh, what, like Halo? And I clutched my heart. I'm thinking, fuck. What do you
The
mean?
confusing thing is like the kid's
What
not.
do you mean?
The kid's
This is not old. It's what? Like it feels like yesterday, but to these, bro, that hurt. That hurt.
I feel like there's also a great deal of misunderstanding of how our generation is represented in media. Where it's like the idea of us not knowing what like VHS tapes are when we do.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Bro,
We know.
I used to prefer VHS
I still have
tapes.
VHS tapes. Yeah.
VHS tapes you could fast forward
Yeah.
and rewind like smooth like the other DVDs. If you press the fast forward button, it skips to the next scene.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. And then the VHS on some remotes, you could on some boxes you could slow motion.
But it's little things like that. It's like there's just this
And in
misunderstanding
fight
of
scenes,
how.
I'd slow motion it, and I'd see that they don't actually kick the person. I was disappointed. I'm like, fuck. I thought he kicked
I
me.
had VHS tapes of Mr. Bean.
I
I got some of
there's
those
so
at the
many.
back.
There's so
Oh,
many.
that at the back.
Oh, remember in class I had the Phantom VHS?
Yeah.
Who ended up
I
getting that?
think Waggy did.
Wow, Waggy.
But still, it's like the way our generation is represented. It's like, what's that? What's that? It's like, what? It's like, I know these things. It's like, what's a floppy disk? Yes, I know what a fucking floppy disk is.
I
Imagine,
remember.
I'm not that stupid.
imagine looking at a floppy disk and going like, "Hey, that's the symbol for the save button on
Yeah.
the."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, sure, like, we have been blessed with the advancement of technology, but we were grown up from this era of getting from the 90s, still, like 90s, because we were born early 2000s, so 90s 90s culture was still around when we were young, and I guess also maybe Australia, being in Australia, kind of might have changed some things because we always get things a little bit later.
That's true.
Yeah. Also, region locking shit with like DVD players is so horrible.
Oh,
I hate region locks.
that's such a dumb. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Me personally.
Yeah.
That I've never understood the concept of region locking.
Yeah.
Like especially when you look at something like Netflix.
Yeah.
When it's like, oh, you can't watch this because you're in Australia. Why? Like,
Because they haven't bought the rights to
but,
streamers.
but why?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you make more money?
Well, no, but they probably have to think like, is buying the rights for would the Australian audience watch this enough to warrant us buying the rights for it?
Nah. Give it to us. I don't even care if it's on another server. Just let us watch. Stupid fucking shit. Region locking is dumb.
Yeah, but it's also this idea of with Netflix, it does have an alright business model because you can still just use like a VPN just to go off and do your own shit. But also, it creates this limit of culture.
I
over
have a
everything
theory.
else.
I have a theory
Like
that
McDonald's.
this is actually my theory, right? I reckon the reason they region lock shit on Netflix is because VPNs pay them. I reckon because think about it. Why do people get VPNs? Most people get VPNs because of region lock shit. It is what it is.
Or
right?
security.
Security, yeah,
No,
but
it's
no
security.
one else gives a fuck. So they
the
get
security is extra.
100% these VPN companies pay off Netflix to region lock shit, so that they have to use their servers, right? And
Is what
I
they pay
reckon.
Netflix profitable?
Hmm?
Is what they pay Netflix like enough?
Probably
I don't think so.
to region lock shit, because then they pay them, so then people buy the VPN. I reckon it's enough. I reckon they pay them, without a doubt. And they probably get paid from other ones as well.
Yeah, but you also have to consider like some movies aren't allowed in some countries and things
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
yeah.
So
yeah,
region locking is more about like what Alex said is the fucking the licensing agreements, because you have to gain licenses to view it in this certain country. Of course, Disney owns the right to everything that they do, so that's why they have everything.
Yeah, it's Disney Plus.
Yeah. So Disney Plus owns everything, so they can just have everything.
Well, we're Spider-Man.
Netflix can't because they don't own
But
everything.
every Netflix
Yes, but
original.
That's
Why
why.
Spider-Man?
That's why everything. Yeah. That's why everything like
It's
Netflix.
by fucking Sony.
That's why like Netflix.
You put a
Everything
fucking-
that Netflix.
We don't
has
want them
created
to buy
is
more
everywhere.
companies, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
put
Don't want-
Spider-Man on there.
We don't want to fucking.
I was watching the MCU and I'm like, fuck, I can't watch Spider-Man. Well, fuck it, I'm not watching it.
Bro, but Homecoming's so good though.
Spider-Man's on Netflix.
Fuck Netflix. I can't remember the last time I used Netflix.
Just use
What
mine.
did I
Right?
use Netflix for? It
Not
was something.
Even just streaming services now, like there are so many.
What did I last watch Netflix?
I'm just sticking to the ones I got and just
Yeah.
hiring the rest.
Well, there's Paramount Plus now or something.
No, we don't care about. No Paramount Plus. We don't talk about
There's
that.
like Hulu. Or
Oh, wait,
whatever it
sorry.
is.
Who the fuck?
Hulu's been around a while though.
Yeah, Hulu's been around.
Where's...
Um,
No.
Of course, you have Amazon Prime. You have your
It's-
things like Funimation, Anime Lab,
What's good
Crunchyroll.
is you get like everyone gets like a service each, and you share the passwords among each other.
Yeah.
Like I got Caleb's Anime Lab, I got Nate's Prime, I got. That's it, honestly.
Ah, the last thing I watched was Code Geass.
Rob, what?
I just watched an episode. I think I watched a bit of Code Geass. I don't even think I watched the full thing. I just watched it. Cause I think it was at some house, and I just started watching it.
Mm.
But then I don't eat
What's
Netflix.
the last thing I watched on Netflix? Well, it's very recent. Like I use it really frequently.
Well, I would have been using Anime Lab.
Fuck you, would have been it.
I need to watch Bleach.
There's that new Netflix series that everyone is fucking watching, and now I
Squid-
just don't want
the
to.
Squid
because of
one.
it.
Squid
No,
shit.
as far as I'm concerned, the Squid Game is the same.
Honestly, I just didn't have an interest in it at all.
I was gonna
One
watch
of my cousins
then-
messaged me to watch it. I'm like, no.
it. I was gonna watch it, but then I heard it was a death game, and I don't give a fuck about death games,
Yeah.
plots or stories. So now I just don't care.
What do you mean by death game?
Like the Hunger Games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
It's they've got like it's like I think there's a prize money, people randomly selected, and then you have to go through these tasks to win.
But
And
if you lose,
last
you
one
die.
who's alive wins.
Oh, okay.
I know two of the game modes through memes. One
With
is,
that, like,
green light, and
I'm
there's
sure with something like that, you have
something
to
to do with cookies.
focus more on like the drama aspect of it, like, because it is a TV show, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's,
a TV show.
it's a Korean show,
Yeah, so it's like, yeah.
and it's almost the most watched thing on Netflix.
Mm.
Surprising,
Well, there are other things. Mm.
but yeah, that's not the topic. I don't care about it at all.
Who gives a shit?
We just started talking about Netflix.
Yeah, why can't we?
You want to talk more about Netflix?
Fine,
Netflix-
fine. If you want me to go to the
Yeah,
to the-
Netflix, fucking I'll tell you what happened with Netflix, right? This is said, Netflix said fuck you to me, right? So I use Netflix for a few things. I used it to watch Doctor Who, and I used it to watch what is it? Fuck, Vampire Fuck. What We Do in the Shadows, right? And that was it. I watched those two on it, alright? Because that is what I wanted to watch. But then they removed both of them. So I stopped watching them. So they said, fuck you to me. Right?
They
But then I
didn't say
realised,
fuck
hang
you,
on.
the licensing agreement ran out.
No, fuck them. So what happened is, then I realised, hang on, I got a VPN. So I'm like, let's check British Netflix. British Netflix says Doctor Who. But I don't know where the fucking
Yes,
Prime
they do.
was in the shadows. So, I tried that. I don't think it was there. I don't think it was there. It might have been, I can't remember. Actually, I'll check now. I'll probably, actually no, because it'll disconnect me.
New
Well,
Zealand?
What's What We Do in the Shadows on?
Amazon Prime from $3.
One
So
thing
you can
I think
rent it on Amazon Prime.
One thing I think
Or
I was getting annoyed about is how, what was it? Was how I think Netflix, like, Australian Netflix would get shit like Last or whatever, in terms of crap. Like, we had such a lack of like anime on Netflix, whereas, like, American Netflix had so many. Like, they had fucking Naruto and Bleach running at the same time,
Google Play.
and we only had like what, the specials. Now it's better, but still,
And we're getting a bit more animal.
yeah. Like, what we've had One Piece for quite some time now. Well, the first two.
Yeah, but that's only for
the first two
South
sagas.
Africa.
Yeah.
Bro, I forgot you can use the Samsung App Store to buy movies. It's one of those dumb things.
There are more, I feel like streaming services as well.
How
Like,
much
there's
is
some things about them that are like interesting. Like when you do have something like Anime Lab or Crunchyroll, you can create an account. You can't watch the dubbed, and you will get ads, but at least you can still watch shit. Like obviously you
Yeah,
can't
that
do
was
that
cool.
with Netflix or Disney Plus.
I got an account for Anime Lab and watched all of One Punch Man subs that night.
Yeah.
But I watched it with ads
Time.
Yeah.
in between everything.
Mm.
So I'd be watching in like Prisoners doing some gay shit, and then an ad would show up for some vampire shit, and I'd just go and have a snack.
I don't think I got an ad. Maybe it was at
Yeah,
the time where they didn't do ad. But I don't think I used a full account. No, maybe I did. No, I didn't. Did I? Or was it just subbed anyway? Because I know I had to watch sub regardless.
There are some
But I
things that
can't
are
remember.
just subbed, and
But
some things
I
are
can't
just
remember.
dubbed
I
and
can't
undubbed.
remember if I had to watch it subbed because I didn't purchase the full thing, or if it was just because it was what it was. I think it was what. I can't remember.
Maybe the dub wasn't out yet.
That was the first time I watched something sub. I gave a shit for like 5 seconds and then.
Mm.
That was a good show.
Mhm.
Good show.
Ah.
I love how we moved. I love how we went from fucking Ben 10 being shit to fucking One Punch Man is.
What it is? We'll get to it.
Disney
So-
Plus. I reckon Disney Plus isn't mad though.
Yeah, I like that it's got the different sections for what you want. Like it's got stuff, well, we've got adult content, which is just box. You can go to Pixar, Disney, the fucking documentary section, fantastic.
That's right. I was watching Monsters at Work.
And they've got their own Star Wars, Marvel stuff. I like that they can. It doesn't like hide away from like here are the categories you can go to. You can go to categories on Netflix, but it's not so simple.
Netflix fucking.
But Disney, it's just like, oh, there you go.
On Disney Plus, nothing plays when you're scrolling through shit.
You can turn it
Netflix.
off on Netflix, but they just turn it back on.
The one thing I do say, like, I think I prefer just Netflix's UI the most.
The best UI was Anime Lab before they changed it.
Yeah, that was the best. But
Why did they change it? Why did they sell to fucking Funimation, bro?
weren't they always a part of Funimation?
They weren't completely. I know they made some deal about the rights to some anime, but they now Funimation and Anime Lab are the same.
Yeah, but Anime Lab was just Australia, wasn't it? Or Oceania?
Yeah, Anime Lab's an Australian and New Zealand service, so we didn't get
Fuck.
Funimation here.
What are all these shit movies that they've added to
So
fucking?
it's not like it was a bad thing. We just get more shit if you get good. And it's like if you have Anime Lab, you also have Funimation, which is good.
Bro,
Well,
Flubber.
they're trying to fizzle out Anime Lab now.
Flubber.
Mm.
Oh, the Mad Camp movie. Oh shit.
Flubber
That was mad.
with
cool. I remember
what's
that
his
was a
name?
childhood.
Oh, I forgot his name. Robin Williams.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah,
Sure.
it took me a second.
Mickey and Friends. Oh, do they have?
What you could hear then
Oi,
was
oi.
just my brain processing.
I actually
they have-
the last time I watched Flubber Alex was the morning that you and I went to the One Piece Cafe.
That morning.
Yeah, I was watching it that morning while
Why?
I was
Tell
drawing
what
my
you say?
wallpaper.
Bro, do they have the? No.
I watched it that morning because I'm like,
Bruh.
I don't have to get up for a while, so I'll just put this on.
Mickey Mouse. Where's the? Do they not have the oldest, like the super fucking old
Like,
Mickey Mouse?
If I'm being honest,
Don't they?
I don't think so. Doesn't look like it.
if I'm being honest with something like Disney Plus, I feel like when I go into Disney Plus, it's always like a mood type of thing.
I'll go there
You know
whenever
what I
I want to watch something while I'm eating something, but I can't watch, and then
Yeah, like, but with Netflix, I feel like because there's a greater variety of things, there's more option and choice sometimes with Netflix, and the Netflix originals are pretty pogger.
Yeah, a lot of the Netflix originals are amazing, except the Death Note.
we're talking about that, are we?
Yeah, we're
No,
talking about that
we
now.
can talk about that.
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
this falls into the top. That's fucking shit. That's
The Death Note movie is fucking shit.
I remember watching it before I watched Death Note. I'm like, it's not that bad. Then I watched Death Note. Like, that was awful. That was an awful adaptation of Death
I
Note.
remember. I can't remember your house to watch it, and I was very disappointed.
Yeah, you should
I
do
watched
it.
it a couple days later, but it was horrible. Oh, Allah.
Ryuk was great though. Willem Dafoe.
Oh, bro,
That was
That's
the,
right.
that
He
was the
was
best decision.
fantastic.
That was it.
that was fantastic. But other than that,
That's
shit.
just like one of the things where it's like, anime movies. It's
Live action anime.
Live
movies.
action anime movie is just so hard to kind of do, unless it's a samurai.
But see, okay. Death Note, I hate it. But Dragon Ball Evolution is just fun and funny. I just laugh
But I
at
still
it.
hate it.
I can't
still
like
so
be
bad.
mad at it.
I don't think about it like it's Dragon Ball. I just think about like, oh, this is
It's a
just
really bad fan film.
I love how
Yes, it's a
Disney
fan
classifies Dragon Ball Evolution.
they
I was
do,
watching
don't
that.
they?
Bro,
Do you
that
think
was-
if Fox wasn't bought by Disney, they would have like a new streaming service, or would it still just be like Foxtel?
Almost certainly. Like everyone's doing. Paramount's doing it. The fuck, Paramount is doing it.
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah,
Like
shit,
Harley
good
came back
idea.
or whatever.
Are they gonna get Iron Man was released by Paramount? So did they get Iron Man?
That'd be.
Like that's pre-Disney buy.
They could have.
Like like Iron Man and Incredible Hulk was made like by a few like hopeful Marvel comic creators that just got enough money to be like, okay, let's make a film.
They
and
might
then Disney's
have.
like, you're
like
mine
honestly, like I don't know what Paramount has, and it hasn't enticed me. Amazon's Amazon. Like they have some like original stuff as well, but they also
Yeah, Vinland Saga. So they saw me.
yeah. They actually have a surprising lack of things that are dubbed.
Yeah, I know Vinland Saga has been dubbed, but the dub's not on there, which is weird.
Yeah.
What's this on my lab?
Amazon.
Prime. Amazon Prime.
Amazon. Oh.
Yeah. But Amazon also has a larger focus on like selling to like new movies and crap. Like they have a lot of like
Yeah.
new movies on that shit. But also another problem with like Amazon, I don't like the UI, the HUD system or whatever.
What I love about the HUD system. So Caleb,
It
have you ever
glitches
used
out too
Amazon
much
Prime?
for me.
What happened?
Have you ever used Amazon Prime before?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh,
So
well, I
have you
know what
ever
you're talking
watched?
about.
Have you ever watched something and then go like, "Hey, that actor looks familiar. Oh, hey, this looks familiar. This voice actor sounds familiar," and go like, "I'm gonna Google them now." Amazon Prime, if they are on screen, will show you which actors are there, a small description of the actor, what they played in, their name, what they look like, and who the character's name.
That's
They're
actually,
voicing them.
that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that is
amazing.
That's the best.
Like,
feature.
I'd be watching Invincible, and I'd be like, man, this sounds like the J. Jonah Jameson, and I move it, and it's like, oh look, it's J.K. Simmons.
I like how you said I look up a voice actor or something when I hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that like literally yesterday.
Yeah, Amazon Prime, you don't need to.
I was like, who the
I'll be
fuck
there.
is this guy?
I'll be there, like, hey, this shopkeeper sounds familiar. Move mouse. Mark Hamill. It's great.
Yeah.
I was watching Pulp Fiction and I moved it. It's like, oh, that's that actor's name. Yeah, John Travolta. It's an example. I knew John Travolta's name, but other characters in that movie.
There's some actors where it's like you don't need to look up who they are.
You don't need to. You don't need to
Samuel
do that. I know who
Jackson.
Samuel Jackson is.
Yeah.
We both just said that. You love to say it.
We've just completely thrown off the topic.
Well,
We who gives a
So
shit?
yeah, it can be a problem at times, but with that feature alone makes Prime Video one of my favorite streaming services.
Mm. Stan is
Like
Stan very
it knows what the audience wants. It wants to Google actors when they recognize their voice.
but that's a fairly common thing, I think. You know, people hearing something like, who?
I'd love to get a second monitor just so I can keep watching what I'm watching, and then on my other monitor just look up the actor.
What do you think I do?
That's why I don't have I've got a shitty laptop. That's what I'm talking about. That's
You
why
just
the
get
microphone
another
quality is
monitor.
shit. But your money,
You can get a shit one. They don't cost that much.
money. Plus, I want to invest in something half decent at least.
True. Like what? My $3,000 monitor.
Not that much.
It is very good, but it still cost me
What's a
$3,000.
We're in discussion. We didn't put in one. We didn't put in. Well, it's not a series per se, but it is something that did say "fuck you" to the fans.
Anything, like you can just.
Epic.
What?
Paladins.
Oh, right.
yeah!
Oh, okay. Paladins time. Okay. This is how it goes.
Paladins
that
fuck
all of
are
these-
fucking shit. Guys are fucking idiots.
I hate that the one thing that they haven't changed about the game is like the one thing that I keep coming back to. Just the simple gameplay for the most part is the same.
Cards.
So even if I'll play it again, I'll play it and it's still as fun, even though there are numerous things that they've done to fuck me in the ass. I hate that I've now gotten used to a black screen at the end of the games. I'm now used to that. I see that, I'm like, okay, time to commend people. God damn it! Where is top play?
Top
High
play make
res.
people sweat more as well.
I'd sweat more. I get a double kill, I'm like, okay, time to kill them all. I need a quad. Get that
Paladins
play.
as well. Like, I felt more hurt over the loss of games modes. Because obviously, I've partially quit. That is very clear. I'm focusing more on school. I'm focusing more on schoolwork and other crap. I'll play more once I'm finished with uni in like 4 weeks or whatever. However, still, if they bring back those old game modes, I'm coming back.
Payload and survival.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Remember when they did a battle royale and it was out for an hour and then they said, "Hang on, I got a new idea," and then they removed the game mode. A month later, they got a new game.
That is literally what they did.
Look, it was out for you could have played it for an hour. I missed it, and I'm like, why can't I open Paladins? What's wrong? Why is it going through an update? I open it, and it's gone. It's not there. The thing that they've been hyping up for weeks, it's gone.
Yeah.
How did they do? Did they publish it? And then like someone at Harris is like, hang on, emergency meeting. Get this. Undo button.
Yeah.
Copy paste. New game. And it's dead now.
Yeah. Smite is a good game. It just doesn't have the fan base, and there's no real matchmaking system.
And the time to kill is a lot longer as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to get into with the hundreds of characters, and I noticed that getting other people into Paladins now is a lot harder.
Yeah, definitely.
Than it was before. I know Jake, he played with us, and yeah, sure, he had fun, but like now there are over 50 champions, and you can't get used to them all. Even Ryan, he's a level 35 Amani. He's played hundreds of games now, has no clue what the fuck some people do.
Yeah.
He'd be fighting a Vora, he's like, what? He's dead.
Yeah.
It's even now.
And we've got an advantage because we know what a lot of these characters do. We've known what we've seen a lot of these characters come out and seen what they do. And when we started, there were like
we'd have months to get used to the character.
Exactly.
Like even I can't play Tyra for shit. I know exactly what she does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know what a Hunter's Mark does. I know what a fucking Molotov does. I know what a bomb does. I know what Ultra does. I know what a Parability does.
Granted, as well, like I essentially know what Ray does because of Caleb playing her. But like some of the other new champions, I still
for some reason I'm refusing to learn new characters.
Yeah, I still don't know what the hell Vora does. Well, I know she's Spider-Man. That's about it.
She does. I know she does damage. I've played her in like shooting range, and I played Tiberius in a custom game.
But I've never played Vora though.
I know those two. I vaguely remember their abilities. I've never ever touched Ray for some reason.
But you know what Ray does.
Yeah. I know she has bouncy heals. I don't actually know what her abilities to attack are. I think she does have movement abilities. And her ultimate is the goat.
And of course you know what Yagarath does.
Yeah, because I've actually played Yagarath. I know what Yagarath and Octavia do because I played them. I played Octavia for the quest. I bothered to look, and I don't like Octavia very much.
Octavia is an interesting character though. It was quite good to have like the more focused on like the team. That shit was good.
Actually, I'm gonna complain about the lore. Remember what they did with the lore?
You hurt my heart, sir. It
did hurt my heart. But now, looking back, looking at what they've done with it now, I'm actually invested in this new lore as well.
I don't care about the lore anymore. I've given up.
Yeah. I'm starting to care about the lore again. Because it actually is rather... a lot of it is rather interesting. With Atlas and Yagarath.
I still think we made better lore.
Yeah, I think we did better. I think we spent... Any viewer who's not watching currently, we spent hours and hours, into the night with graphs and charts. We get every voice line they ever said to each other, every little hint of lore. We thought that fucking Charlene and Maeve had a thing for each other.
We did.
It was your prince. Right? I even took voice lines from characters that weren't in canon. There was the Chancellor Maldumba skin, right? He said something to Torvald that gave some depth into what Torvald's profession was. So I took that. Nothing could be said about Chancellor Maldumba because it's a skin, doesn't matter. But what the skins say about other characters is still something the devs wrote in. Therefore, that's something that's clearly canon. We get all of these. We get every map. We'd think Frog Isle was where they praised to fucking Makoa.
Yeah.
We get every fucking detail possible.
I'll tell you what.
They also changed how skins worked.
Oh yeah, that was annoying. But I reckon, you know, I'm at the point now where I actually wish they didn't reveal the lore.
Yeah.
I think it actually would have been better if they just kept it the way it was, and it was
With
just
us
like
just
the
thinking
lore. The lore you get is just voice line,
Mm.
and it's just bits and pieces here and there.
Because we
And
had
it's
so
all
much
kind
fun creating our own lore, and I feel like that's more fun than actually having proper
A new
lore.
character would be released, and we just dig into it. Every voice line, go, 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 go. His VVGG says something about a fucking kingdom. Look into that. Write that down. Write that down. We need it.
Maeve's ultimate sounds a bit like Ceres's
Shadow Realm, yeah.
Shadow Realm. So I thought they were mother
Took
and
powers
daughter.
from the abyss.
There was a time where I thought Maeve was Ceres's daughter, which I think was very funny.
The size of Ceres's orb was the same size as Terminus's heart thing. Ate that shit up. Ate that shit up.
Certain crystals were the same color. I was like, okay, that must have some bearing.
Torvald and what's his name? Talus's runes. We looked into runes.
You know what that actually reminds me of a lot with the whole like crystals and technology and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of Edelus in Fairy Tail.
Imagine.
I mean, that's how they use magic.
Yeah. And when they revealed the lore, it kind of felt like a stab in the back. Because it feels like they retconned.
No, admittedly,
They also felt like they didn't put a lot of effort into it.
At the start, they're putting a lot of effort now.
And then they retconned it, and then they changed some characters' lore around.
Though, admittedly, with the lore, I think at times it was sort of our fault.
Yeah.
Like, in the sense
Yeah,
that it was us saying, like, oh, this is what we think would happen, but then we're just wrong.
It was
But
simply our
I do think there
expectations.
was some dumb decisions in terms of, but,
Though it's not the lore that we hate the game for.
No.
oh no, I
It's
had
the
the game for
stupidest
it.
shit decisions. For example, we spoke about the skins. You used to be able to change a character's hat. There used to be skins that specifically allowed you. You had there was a scream mask for Androxus. You could put on like some fucking fancy ass suit for Androxus and give him a scream mask. That was awesome. But because they wanted to be like Smite or like any other fucking game, where you had the icons on the loading screens for the skins, they wanted that. They completely erased that feature, which had clearly been built in from the get-go. All these skins that were based off it no longer exist. You have to be a default Androxus if you want that Scream skin.
Yeah.
That is just one of the few minor fucking things they changed. Of course, Paladins is a glitchy game, and frankly, that's what made us love it. It was a game where...
It was in beta for a
It was in
long
beta
time.
for the entire time we played it. Almost the entire time, but it was in beta. It was a game that was currently in development, and the developers spoke to its audience, mostly through Reddit, and they'd speak to us. They'd have these monthly midnight, it'd be midnight for us, but they'd have, what are they called?
What?
Just like 2 hour streams where they'd explain the updates to people.
Yeah.
I'd love staying up watching that on fucking school nights, right? I'd love to see what happened.
How dare you? I was too busy watching One Piece.
I'd put my life into that because I loved that game. I loved that it felt like I was part of this game because it was still being made while we were playing it, and they seemed to care.
It was also back in the days when a lot of us were starting the anime journey as well.
I watched a few of them.
Yeah.
I tried to say like, oh, anime, I could figure these out. I couldn't. I'm an idiot. But like, I'd love to go through all these skins would have references, right? And you'd see like, oh, they've got a nice Kingpin skin. Oh, the fucking Groot. It's like Groot. Yeah, that's cool. Like it's, I loved that. And then at some point, that changed, and I don't know when, but suddenly they stopped caring about exactly what they did with their audience. They stopped caring about being intimate with their audience, and
It's
suddenly
when they
wanted
realized
to
that they
be,
could get more money.
they wanted to be a bigger game. They wanted to be as polished as Overwatch by the looks of it.
Yeah.
They started caring more about that. They wanted to get on the Switch, and the Switch wouldn't allow beta games, so they had to release the game even though it still wasn't finished.
Yeah.
And they're still constantly updating it. But that's cool.
Yeah.
The new character, there's nothing wrong there with the new characters. Some of the things the new characters do, it's pretty cool. Some of the new maps are cool. They vaguely bring back PvE. There are new different game modes that come every few days.
Even
those
like
are cool. I want PvE back there.
anytime I would play, usually during like anytime I would play, for some reason, in between that time skip from how you guys are playing all now, from all the way back then, every time I would play, I would just get from other people very toxic comments that was said. Like a flank was complaining to me about healing, and because I was the healer, and I still got more kills than them somehow, and still did a lot of healing. It's not my job to heal you, especially like as a Ying, essentially. It's like I can't make that choice. I can't
luckily, you
choose
do
what
have the
heal.
ability to meet people, and that's a
Yeah.
problem I feel with gaming in general. I feel,
But I feel like
being...
once we all got back into it, I felt like there was less toxic.
Well, yeah, because
energy.
when you're in a team with us, there's less.
No, but
toxic
even while I was
things
playing
doing.
solos and all that crap, there was less of it. Yeah.
Well, that would probably be coincidence, if anything.
True.
You know what's ironic?
I miss Wiggle
That-
World.
They tried to become more polished like Overwatch, yet in the process of doing so, I think they actually became worse.
Yeah.
Because during the time what we consider Prime Paladins, I genuinely think it was better than Overwatch. Simply for the fact that all the characters you got, you could make them your own,
Just go
whether
play
it be
fucking
through
TF2.
the cosmetic aspect being the skins, or albeit the cards and the items. Just because you play a character and just because you have these abilities doesn't necessarily mean that that's the end of it. If you struggle with a character, you can just go into the cards and change a certain thing, and all of a sudden, you can be good with the character. You know what I mean?
Just play
And it's
fucking
something-
TF2.
And then when I play Overwatch, I can't all these whenever I play a champion, I'm thinking, bro, I wish I could tweak this stat, or I wish I could tweak this, and I can't do that because it's not paladins. And I think that was the biggest, for me. That was the biggest shame. That was what made me
Defender Paladins.
it made me shift away from it. When they stopped when they did the skin thing, that was the first sort of, I think, problem. But then they did that big leveling thing. And the problem I had with the levels wasn't that they changed the scale. It was that they made it so you could buy levels, and you could technically buy titles by just leveling up like, I've got a level 30 Androxus. I can't play Androxus for shit, but I've got the
I've got a level
cosplayer.
30
How does that
forever.
make sense? How does that work? You know what I mean? And
Buying levels made me mistrust the idea of people's
Exactly.
leveling, because you could have just bought money and just bought all the levels itself and
I
kind
see
of
a high
turned
level
me off
Ceres,
everything.
and I'm like, you could have just bought that.
Mm.
You know
Well,
what I
you
mean?
just move the feature.
They
most
they
things the
did,
levels
but the
now.
damage was done. The damage was done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They had it for so long that,
Mm.
you know, if I'd spent all my
Us
money on
challenging
leveling
each
up
other
mate,
to get a character to level 20, which was incredibly hard back then.
that was.
But now
yeah.
it's so easy just to level characters up.
I've almost got Zin to level 50, which is the equivalent to level 20.
Yeah. But like you
I
need
think-
hours and hours and hours to do that.
Yeah.
Hence why a lot of us
I
do
think-
have over like 3.
I got a dozen characters over level 20 now.
Yeah, because it's so easy to do that.
I also got Maeve level 20. I don't fucking touch Maeve.
Yeah.
I think Paladins are so obsessed with at this point now being polished that it's not with play the game top play, sorry. They removed it because it was buggy. It was buggy as fuck.
But they
Instead
don't.
of fixing it,
But here's the
they're
thing.
so obsessed with being polished that they couldn't fix this problem. They removed it in general, entirely.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, there was a massive hole in my heart whenever I'd finish a game, and then there's nothing. And once again, you may lose that drive to perform the best you can because now there's no end of game reward. There's no reward for doing that. There's just
But they
I guess I got
don't. They
one
don't
for this
even
game.
change it to something else. They don't even change it to just like an image or a picture.
Well, they
just do a black
They
screen.
had everyone on the team. At the end of the game, you can see all people's posing, and then you can see what they did best in that game. Most shielding, most objective time.
No,
most
but
damage,
like the
most
black
skill
screen,
streak.
they could have just changed that to like
Why
a
couldn't
loading
they have
screen.
done both? Like they could have done that whole.
But they're so obsessed
People
with
posing, yeah.
their polish that they can't have this buggy feature, which
And
they
and
clearly
and,
couldn't
and,
fix.
and, you
They're
know
so
what?
obsessed with polish, they're skinning every map they have. Every character they're polishing up. Rock and Barrack and these characters which now fit their new agenda.
Minty
They're
Rock has
changing maps
rest in
that we
peace.
love into something completely different.
Put me into
The only one that I actually like is what they did with what's it called? The newest one. The newest map change. Stonekeep. I like what they did with Stonekeep.
But I'm gonna miss
That's
all.
the only. Yeah, I'm still gonna miss old Stonekeep. I miss all those maps. I miss old Jagged Falls, old Frog Isle, especially old Timbermill. Fuck old Timbermill. I miss it. Frozen Guard. I miss old Frozen Guard. Now Ice Mines and Serpent Beach are the two untouched ones. But
They're gonna get
Serpent
touched.
I'll be honest.
Serpent
I
Beach
always
is going to get.
I still
And it's the
fucking.
most nostalgic, I feel.
I still fucking forget that High Res has their own version of fucking Fortnite.
Realm
Yeah, they do.
Royale.
No one plays it.
Fuck would you play Realm Royale?
I think the final straw was the play of the game, and for me it wasn't even them getting rid of it. That wasn't the problem. It was their excuse. We can't figure out how to fix it, so we're gonna get rid of it. Despite your competitor, not only having play of the game working, but giving every single person who had played that game their own play of the game that they can save and download
Just go play
in any
TF2.
resolution they want. Like, I don't understand how you can't fix it. Are they so incompetent at game design that they can't have a play of the fucking game?
Do you spectate games anymore?
No.
You used to be able to spectate games. You could join games someone was in.
Because
and
obviously they
spectate
can't
it.
get fucking playback to work.
Yeah.
Play the game wasn't playback. It was they'd get bots to perform it in the exact same order other people did, which is why you see it even buggier sometimes.
And it's
See
funny
someone
because
in the background, like just standing still, doing something that they weren't doing at the time.
you can't even chop it up fucking the engine, because other games that run on Unreal Engine 4, they can do it. They can replay. But no, they can't fucking figure out how to do play of the game. They're such shit fucking game developers that they can't figure out play of the game, so we're just gonna get rid of. What sort of attitude is that? What sort of attitude is that? Especially when they got rid of it when the game was out. That was the worst part.
Yeah.
If it was in beta, okay, it's in beta, fair enough. But this wasn't in beta. This was when they released it.
I think it's funny when
Fucking imagine.
I think it's funny when we're able to tell if you're a Switch player. They're always fun because they always, for some reason, they're always like, they aim shitly on the fucking Switch.
Yeah.
There was just a lack of
Fucking
control.
Paladin.
Never have I gotten so invested in not the story, but this game, this people's passion, the project they put their work into with all this it's so much love behind it, with so many people supporting it, and then for them to just say, we don't care about you anymore. We're going to prioritize this now, and we don't care what you think. There are very few times they've listened to the audience. They listen to the audience when they change the card system, because, of course,
Because I want to
that's
lose
the
money.
one. That's the one thing in the game that makes me come back to it. Every time, if you remove that and never touch it again, I love Bomb King, but not that much. Right? And they change, and obviously the leveling system, they remove that at some point. They didn't listen enough. They didn't revert it. But I don't think they even could if they tried.
But
If
I
they
think I
tried to
think the
revert
pain
it.
is still there. The pain is like with leveling. It's just like
That's like the only two things I can think of. Oh, I think it was they changed the card system because I think it was Tencent.
Yeah.
That they wanted to appeal to the Chinese audience, the pay to win kind of thing.
yeah.
And we know that they're involved because there was that one Paladins teaser with the smoothest fucking animation on the planet. Because they didn't make it, someone else did. And so they were clearly now they've been bought up or paid off by a corporation that that they weren't associated with before, and that's what's changed. I don't know when it happened, but it did. So when that teaser came out, things just started going down.
True. True.
I just damn it. Fucking love Paladins. And I look back on it fondly. That was like the time of our lives. Year 10, year
Literally.
11. The fucking nights we'd go home, get on Paladins, and we just play for hours. Bro. It's true, you don't know you'll look back on those times until it's happened.
Yeah, yeah.
But those times.
It's even worse when you have images and video clips.
Old videos of what happened.
Bro, I have like
I forget that I could only
was-
play every other week because of the parent thing. I forgot that
Yeah.
happened. Because I just remember the good stuff, and that was with playing Paladins with you guys.
I
don't
remember I have the
remember I played
screenshot.
half as
I have
much.
the screen. I have 308 screenshots of fucking Paladin, and I remember I have one of when I got level, and I was so happy. I was so happy. I was so proud. Fucking. And then you see the old UI, you see old.
I think definitely with friends, it's so easy to get sucked into Paladins.
Which is why I'm playing it now. Well, I'm playing it somewhat with
Yeah,
my friends.
like if no one else was playing with you, Alex, would you stay as long as you are currently?
I occasionally play a few games by myself in the middle of the day, but not for nearly as long. And if no one else played, I wouldn't play for longer than a week by myself.
Yeah, same.
Why can't I?
Whereas for me, I'm currently, I think I'm looking more currently at like new games that might interest me. I want to change up some stuff with my gaming palette. Like I want to play Monster Hunter,
Yeah.
and I was even just I was at some
Alex,
era.
look
wanna
at
play
what
more
I
Kirby
see
games.
in Tom's backyard. I think you're gonna cry a bit.
No!
old,
Second.
old, yeah. That's when I call myself that. I forgot I used to call myself that.
Paladins has me as AROM 17Z. No, AROM 17 before I added the Z.
Mine, because I went. It was initially the Calibri body,
But
and then I went to Xenon, and then I went to Second, and then I went back to the Calibri body.
But I also have a second account where I actually own AROM 17Z as well. I think on Smite I was AROM 17Z, because by that point I changed it.
Bro, this is sad.
There's a video on my channel. Which...
Bro, here's and Droxus on fucking. I forgot the name of the map, but the payload map. Just emoting. Oh, that bro.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing
Oh,
old
that's a shame.
teasers, like
Oh yeah, the old.
within the old maps, like the Maeve release was on that map.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite videos I made on my channel. But looking at it, at the old everything.
Yeah. They also I was annoyed because they also removed because as a Maeve, when she first came out, I always wore the brown coat because that was unique. No one else wore that one, so I wore it. And every time, even if there was another Maeve on the team, if I saw, because what would happen is everyone would disappear except the person who got play of the game. So if I saw that the only person that was still there was a Maeve with a brown coat, I'm like, I got.
Yeah, because it still wasn't complete then. It was
I'm
preparing for play the game in advance.
I'm,
Everyone would fuck off, but you.
I'm so mad when they got rid of that because that was like that is the classic skin for me. I dead set forget that her coat is blue by default. I always
It's
assume it's
much the
brown.
same.
I always assume
Me,
it's
default
brown.
Bomb King is black, the Monarch skin. The
Yeah.
hard candy bombs. I played that by default every time. I'd occasionally touch some of the other skins. And now I'm a Biz King. Now I'm going Biz King with the golden bombs because that's just the best combo. I'm using Pumpkin now because it's Halloween. Just because why not? But usually when I play Bomb King, it's always Biz King. Right? It's always this. This is me. I am Bomb King with Accelerant, Biz King, Golden Bombs with these set of cards. That's me. That identifies who I am, who I play as. Bruh. I play it almost every day, but I fucking miss Paladins.
Yeah.
What?
It is because we played the one what it is now, but what it was. There's a different.
You know what's cool? The start of the stream, we talked about Star Wars. There we felt rage. Now we're talking about Paladins, and now we feel sadness.
Oh no! Oh, I just looked at a picture that.
What did we forget about something? Like, no one's
No,
forgetting
no,
about
this
things
is
they
something
changed.
you're not. Yeah, I don't think you'd remember. But Maeve's 9 lives used the
Used to
symbol
what?
used to be green
Oh, okay.
instead of purple. And this picture's from when it was green.
I
Fuck!
wouldn't know that.
Fuck! Forgot about that, man. Looked better when it was green, I reckon. I mean, probably not, because all their other abilities were purple. But I liked one.
Oh, there was one more thing Paladins changed back. So they changed something, and then the fans like rebelled and like, no, this is terrible. And then like, okay, we'll revert it back. So one was the card system. The other one was buying levels. The other one was Fernando's picture. His image used to be him with a rose, and then they changed it to him with the helmet on. The backlash was so great. They changed it back to him with the rose in his mouth.
Oh, that was very funny. That was very funny.
Like, look at the video I sent. He's wearing the helmet there, but he's not wearing it now.
Because I think he's the sexiest person there. I mean, why would you cover him
Literally. And when you're covering up his face, why?
up? Oh, there we go. Something's gone for a tumble.
My mouse.
Yes. When Alex and I used to 1v1.
And then I just lose almost every time. I should have had an advantage the color against me. I should have.
Do I have a Makoa against me? That's Makoa against Makoa. I don't think I have a Makoa.
I have a bit of a video of you as Barrett versus me as Evie. And it's one of the funniest videos of Paladin I have.
But I have this one as you were Bomb King and I was Maeve. That went well.
I'm sure it did.
You killed me though. Oh, you killed me once. It was alright.
I got you once, yeah. See, look,
I love how you. I like how in that one you did like pretty much half my damage. Right. Yet I got over 5 times kill. I got 5 times your kills, which I find quite humorous.
That old bomb. I want to just not play Biz anymore. I just want to play hard candy with Monarch. Get back to that.
True.
Here's one I always go back to.
What a dog. What a dog.
What a
Anyway.
dog.
I suppose we've talked about paladins for
Yeah.
long enough.
The other thing on this list, by the way, is Pokemon.
Oh yeah, but
Particularly the
I think
Pokemon
you can
anime.
talk about it. I think you can talk about it more than we
Me?
can. Yeah. More.
Me?
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, me.
Pokemon was more there just because of the anime. Of the true reason, like why they said F you to the fans, is more for the fact that it's like Pokemon is one of those things that's obviously been stagnant. Just like with obviously Ash being 10 the whole time, even though they don't actually say his age for the longest time at all during the series. And there is a somewhat of a progression in Pokemon, but it was probably by like the 5th generation where they just really said like fuck you, everything he learnt is just gonna be reverted back to dumb Ash when he didn't know anything. And somehow he Pikachu tied and killed a legendary, and then a couple episodes later he loses to a level 5 Snivy. Yeah, as you do.
Casually.
Casually. He tied killing a Latios. And then he loses to a level 5 Snivy. What?
What is he gonna do? Just win?
It was also kind of like that, just in Gen 4. Like, he should have won the Pokemon League. Like, that was one of his best teams. The only reason he lost is because he was fighting a guy with fucking legendaries. Like, what was that? And it wasn't a character that we'd ever seen before, like normal Pokemon does. This was just a character who just kind of appeared because, like, nah, Ash isn't gonna win. But there's like certain times in Pokemon, especially where it's like it's something that has definitely grown up with a lot of people because a lot of people Pokemon was his first anime. But then, of course, with Pokemon as well, you also have to consider like they've done a good job of still selling towards kids. And there's just this great little bit of just like, it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same after a certain point, where the story just kind of like falls flat, and you're reverting things back just for the sake of everything continuing on for fucking ever. Now they're slowly trying to get more like, I feel like, mature type of like movies and more things about like emotion and like sadness and crap in some of their movies. Like Pokemon I Choose You, I think, was a bit of a more mature-ish movie aimed at more mature audiences of teenagers, but still, like, if you've grown up with Pokemon, it becomes harder to watch it now, knowing what it becomes.
Probably because
how much it just falls
the newer
off.
one is for the newer audience.
Yeah, then like Pokemon Journeys is definitely for a newer audience. Yeah. Sad.
Very fucking sad.
Sad.
One of my first anime I watched was on a VHS, a Pokemon movie. Pikachu got lost in some city.
That's not a Pokemon movie, that's a Pokemon special.
A Pokemon special. I watched it. I saw that one of my earliest, probably the first anime I ever watched.
Pokemon.
Was that? I remember I borrowed the VHS from an auntie in Phillip Island, and we quote unquote borrowed it for years. She was in Phillip Island. We're just gonna go back to the time.
My earliest memory of Pokemon is when I can't remember who it was, but someone opened a Pokédex and it made the Omnitrix sound. I'm like, hang on a minute, you're not allowed to use that sound. This is when I was like little kid proper watching Ben 10. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, that's Omnitrix. What are you doing? What's it doing? What's that sound doing there? The Omnitrix, that's not the Omnitrix, that's a Pokey shit.
It's a fake.
Like, yeah, it's fake. And then I remember Lucario showing up somewhere. And then,
Lucario.
yeah, I don't know. He was just there, wasn't he? And then he was just there.
Those are your earliest memories of Pokemon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, Alex's is a lot earlier than Caleb's ones.
Just because I recognize it's an older special because I looked up a bit.
Yeah.
It's not. I didn't watch it then.
Obviously, yeah.
Would have been when? Yeah, what wasn't it? It was would have been a few years after. I was borrowed some other VHS. I don't remember what it was.
Digimon.
No.
Oh, I remember I saw another like 5 seconds of an episode and it had fuck, what's it called?
Brock.
Buizel?
Weasel.
Weasel. I think it was a Buizel. Or it could have been the one before.
The one before Weasel. What?
No, hang on, no, it could have been no, it was Buizel.
You know the Pokemon trading cards.
Yeah.
I remember there was like a thing in primary school, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't have any. And then, believe it or not, Muskie, right?
Yeah.
I started having, and he gave me some, right? So I had some Pokemon cards. And then for the next like few weeks, it was like, oh, I got this one. You want to trade? And then we traded a bunch. And then a few weeks later, I don't remember exactly the context, but Muskie again, he comes up to me. He's like, hey, where'd you get this Pokemon card? It's like, oh, you gave them to me. Oh, I can have them back? Okay. And that's the last time I had them. The only time I've ever had Pokemon cards. Someone gave it to me, I traded them, and I gave them back to them. They're new cards.
Fair enough.
That's my earliest memory.
I still have my.
That's my only memory of Pokemon cards.
I still have my first Pokemon card.
Imagine being that stupid at fucking primary school. It's like, oh yeah, have some cards. Okay. Hey, where'd you get those from? You. Can I have them back? Okay. What? Muskie's a good kid.
What was my earliest memory of an anime? It could have been Dragon Ball, actually.
If
Oh,
not
but
Pokemon,
all I
know it was,
remember- All I remember is it was the scene where Goku's when Nimbus gets blown up by forgot his fucking name. With the rocket launcher. And then Goku has a sook, and that is my earliest memory of anime.
I'm trying to remember who did it. And then he got sad because like, oh, it's dead. It's like, no, just call him back, lol.
And when I was rewatching it, I saw that, I'm like, ah! So that's the content.
I have a few early memories. Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece. 4
Oh, I
kids.
remember.
You're a full kids victim.
Okay. So I've never seen.
I bloody had like a Luffy toy when I was younger, and it's one of the toys I remember so vividly. And I'm like, damn it! Now that I'm like the biggest One Piece, now I'm just such a big One Piece fan. I'm like, where is that toy? I want that toy. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Where is it? I want it back.
He lost it.
I've lost it. I don't know where it is.
Oh, my old toys, man. I don't have any of them.
I remember seeing Naruto like on the ads and shit, but I never.
Yeah, I had a Naruto toy. I don't know.
Sometimes
it was
I could be
a
fucked.
Naruto star, but it was like massive.
Yeah.
And I took ownership over that with my brother because he knew nothing about Naruto. I knew everything about Naruto. I love Naruto, apparently. Fuck, kids are stupid.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
I just wanted that star.
Okay, here's one. So my little cousin, right? She walks into my room, and she looks at I think it was Sasuke, because you know I've got that little Sasuke figurine, right? She looks at him and she's like, I know that character. I'm like, do you now? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, who is it? Well, I don't know, but I think I know that character. I know that girl.
Right.
My takeaway from that is she didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. But I just found it funny that some people will come in and they'll say, I know who that is. But they don't know who that is.
Yeah.
And she's like, can I have one? I'm thinking,
Why?
if you thought it was a girl, then I don't think you really deserve one.
But Sasuke is a girl.
Oh, he is. Well, of course he is.
Sasuke's a girl.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He is. He's a woman.
Woman.
It's a woman.
The woman.
Nah.
Woman.
He's a woman.
It's okay. I don't need the Luffy toy back. There's a bunch of Luffys everywhere in my room.
I've got a Luffy statue, but he's attached to a statue with Goku and Naruto.
I have
So I had no
4
choice.
pieces of merchandise of Luffy. That's not a poster.
Oh no, I have,
Oh,
I have,
peace.
I also, I have a
Yeah.
cup, the glass thing with Sanji on it. I
My
think.
one has Luffy.
Oh, yeah. My cup. What the fuck's my cup? I forgot what's on it. No, hang on, hold on.
And then I've got a
I'm back.
picture. I've got a picture of fucking of
It's
Goku
his
Naruto.
Zoro during Mortal 7. It says a bunch of things in Japanese on it, and I don't know what it says because I'm not Japanese.
You mean you can't speak Japanese? Or read
And I'm
Japanese?
still not Japanese.
Being Japanese and reading it
Could've
are two
fooled me.
different things, let's be honest.
True, but I still am not Japanese.
We don't know, maybe you have a little bit in you.
Okay. But as you said, there's no correlation.
But,
Where the
but
fuck
you're the
would he
one
get
who's saying that you're still not Japanese.
Where the fuck would he have gotten Japanese from?
I don't fucking know.
I find it very unlikely, incredibly unlikely, that a Japanese. Okay. So, 2 possibilities. 1, a Japanese person made it to fucking Cyprus.
Japanese people did make it to Europe. What are you on about?
Yeah, exactly. That's 1, and that's not happening. 2, a Japanese person copulated with one of the ancestors from Australia. Because one side has been here for like 8 generations. One of them had to come down here to Perth and go like, you, sexy Australian
I mean-
woman or man, are mine.
I mean, Alex, you also there's also another plot thread where
Oh, what's the other? What's the
because
plot
you
thread?
have
What's that?
because of Cyprus and where it's positioned, you have a lot more ties with the Middle East, and what's
Yes.
Middle East connected to? Asia.
But it's also an island in the middle of butterfuck nowhere.
Yeah, but you could have.
Well, it's
more,
not
there's
nowhere.
more potential
It's
for
somehow
that
like
to happen.
right in the middle of the Mediterranean, and almost everyone forgets it exists.
Yeah,
Even
you're
me.
that's fucking whoop whoop. I don't know what to tell you.
It's right underneath Turkey.
I thought it
above
was, I
fucking-
thought it was,
mean,
I thought, I thought it was close
Mongols.
to the Greece. Oh, nah, it was whoop.
No, it's not.
No, you have Mongol DNA.
I do, don't know.
You're more likely to be fucking Egyptian.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I think.
Oh, you're more likely to be from fucking.
I searched up
Syria.
Cyprus, and it's this country in the Middle East.
Yeah, because it is in
Yeah,
the
it's
Middle East.
right next to Lebanon, right above Israel and Cairo, underneath Turkey.
Yeah.
Not, it's close to Greece, in the same way that
What the fuck's this island?
New
Spain is
Zealand is
close,
close
like the
to
same way that France
Australia.
is close to Libya.
Oh, okay, this is an actual.
Poland and United Kingdom is close, like Greece and Cyprus are quite close.
But I'm more likely to have Greek blood in me than you are to have Japanese blood in you,
Of course.
which is.
You know, World War II was an interesting time. You never know what the fuck.
Yeah, that's well. Let's see. Okay, so that would have had to have come from here.
Now I'm just looking at a map.
Okay.
I don't know any of these countries in Africa.
Mine
The
is
fuck
so
Mali?
shit. Mine is just such a.
Indonesia.
Mine is such a weird narrow margin of what I can be.
Oh, that's where Portugal is.
You didn't know where Portugal was.
Not exactly, no.
What's this country?
Oh, Austria's down there.
I like how you're looking at a map. I have a globe on my desk.
Oh, there's
Okay,
Lithuania.
geographers.
What's that? What's that? What? Tell me what that. What's that? It's in between Lithuania and Poland. There's a spot of land. It's not giving me a title, and that's
Where?
not in English either.
What? Where?
And a world map in between Lithuania and Poland.
Fuck.
It's next. It's in the Baltic Sea, underneath Sweden. There's a spot of land.
Isn't that
Underneath
part of Germany or some shit?
Germany's on the other side of Poland.
So it's
Yeah.
above. So it's above Poland, below Sweden.
No, below.
There's-
Yeah, on the opposite side of the sea for Sweden, and in between, and it's like sandwiched between Lithuania and Poland.
Gotland. Or whatever.
No.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'll send you what I'm looking at. This must be great stream quality because they can't see shit. Yeah, it's in the chat. What is that?
Well, no, it says Scotland, doesn't it?
On my screenshot, doesn't?
You fucking scroll in.
I did. And it's telling me there's a city that's got a name that I can't read.
That isn't
Is
that
it
part of
more?
Russia or some shit?
There's even more.
It doesn't look like fucking I've done a fucking.
They don't have to be fucking connected. Alaska's not connected to America.
Yeah, but the fuck, they're fucking Americans. They.
Yeah, and Russia is Russia.
Yeah, you actually got a point there, innit?
Yeah, that is a fair point. Okay. I'm zoomed in.
It's
Strange thing again.
Kaliningrad. Kaliningrad. It's Kaliningrad, yes. Isn't that part of Russia? Some shit.
Wait, what?
Bro, what the fuck is Russia?
Oh, I
doing?
get what you're looking at. Oh, I thought you were looking at the. You know, this is Russia.
It's
I was
Russia?
looking at, no, yeah, I was looking at something else. No, well, that's Cyrillic. So that's right. I'm gonna not be. That looks like Russian writing.
Yeah, it's
It
Russia.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be Germans as well.
I thought you were talking about this fucking island in the Baltic Sea.
Nah,
No, not Gotland. Hang on.
it's part.
A sandwich between Poland and Lithuania across the sea from Sweden.
Ah, gotcha. The fuck is this?
What?
Oh, it's a cafe. But I'll tell you what's very
What
interesting.
the fuck is Norway doing above Finland? They
Being
just don't
cool.
want Finland to have any access.
Yeah, because what
to
they've got,
fucking
they've got
Norway.
this. Yeah, Norway's weird. They go up like this, and they come around.
They're all the same.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Slavic. The Slavic realm.
I love that Finland and if you ignore Norway, Finland's the ball sack and Sweden's the limp dick. Not my joke, but still funny. Oh, there's Nepal.
It does look like a phallus.
Oh,
And then you got- and you got-
Kazakhstan's big, bro. The fuck? Where's Afghanistan? What's the deal with that?
Kazakhstan, Manama border.
Huh?
That's where Borat's from. Kazakhstan.
Oh,
See.
I
Do you
thought
mean I can't put a?
for some reason thought that Nepal was in between Mongolia and China.
What do you mean I can't put a man here?
So,
Ooh,
see,
what the-
on my globe, it doesn't even say Kaliningrad. It just says Russia.
Say what? Put out?
Yeah, for that, it's just part of Russia.
I love how we went from
Afghanistan
talking
is
shit about
isn't
Star Wars
Afghanistan like
to
above
fucking
Pakistan or some shit?
to fucking countries.
Countries are funny.
I'm just staring at that, bro.
I'm going to fucking Portugal.
I love Yemen and Oman. What's this? Djibouti.
No.
Djibouti.
Djibouti.
Djibouti. Oh,
Look on if you go
Oh,
to Yemen, like to the bottom left of Yemen, there's a little thing next to Ethiopia. If I had to draw a rough image of Africa, the continent, I probably wouldn't just even have Somalia there. That little spike, I just wouldn't even process it.
What about Madagascar?
I'd process Madagascar. There are 3 fucking films about that thing.
there are. I like how when I think of Madagascar, I don't even think of the movies. I just think of fucking lemurs, and not even the movie lemurs.
King Julian.
King Julian.
Julian. Ooh, what's this? Now this is a good spot.
We should end the stream.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
we've gone world. What about the world map? What did the world map do to its fans?
It did a lot of things during World War II.
I was about to say something against
200 years ago, Greece didn't exist.
Yeah, they had Greece and all the fans went fucking nuts. That's a bad addition.
Once Alaska was connected to Russia.
Yeah, they really fucked up
Tasmania
the fans with that, didn't they?
Tasmania can fuck off.
Yeah, when
Tasmania?
John Tasman founded Tasmania, that was a real kick in the balls.
Give it to New Zealand. We don't want it.
I don't think New Zealand wants it either.
Oh, well, they can use the landmass.
Is there a bridge between like the two things in New Zealand?
No.
On the
I thought.
Cook Strait?
I think that's a gap, isn't it?
Yeah. I honestly, dead ass, didn't know that.
Well, you thought it was all one thing.
I thought there was like a strip of land in the middle.
Granted, I'm sure it also has like tons of
Kind of
islands
like
connected to it as well.
the Suez Canal, how that was connected, and they like made a path in there.
Yeah.
I kind of figured there was just a little bit of land in there. Also, I just went and scrolled through the Suez Canal, so I knew what it
We
was
still
called,
haven't ended
just for
the
this
stream.
conversation.
Are we gonna end the stream?
I didn't think we did. I just. I didn't think we're
Alex
just gonna
is the
end it in the
host.
middle
He's
of a
the
map
one who's
conversation.
ending the stream.
Yeah, end it.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching. For all those that did, I've been Alexander. This has been Caleb and Ethan.
Huh?
Coming to you live, or if you're not watching this live, not live from the middle of buttfuck Australia, talking about things that we don't like, things that they don't like us back, and world maps. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.
Bye bye.
See you around, lads.